All right. Hello, everybody. Saturday night. Welcome to the pub. I hope you all had a good week. I just got to dim my light here. I know I did. And it's Friday. A little different. Got to do that every once in a while. So let's get everything situated. Good to see everybody. Who's here? Last Dance, Eastwind Farms, RW, just Stevo. Thanks for being here, y'all. It's nice to have you. Often these Friday pubs are a little thin. Not to mention it's still 11:30 in the UK, 11:32, not 12:30, which is going to throw us off next week as well. I believe you guys flip your clocks on the last day of March. I think it's a Sunday this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong on that. I don't know, whatever. But hey, Welshman, what's up, buddy? Good to see you too. Nice to have you last week. Good to see Trigger. Everyone else who was here last week. It was a nice pub. It was fun. We had a good time. Sound all good, brother? Nice. Little blue sky behind you. Fair weather cloud. Very nice. Cool. RW here. He's got some new members of his farm. Maybe we're lucky we'll get to see one. Just about the cutest thing you ever did see. But I won't tell you what it is. Won't give up the goat. I'm gonna read out a tweet from Donald Trump from a little less than an hour ago. Here we go. Donald J. Trump, unlawful. Now, this thing is loaded with bizarre capital letters, as well as some run-on sentences, but not as bad as usual. Not as many commas as usual. Unlawful nationwide injunctions by radical left judges could very well lead to the destruction of our country. These people are lunatics who do not care even a little bit about the repercussions from their very dangerous and incorrect decisions and rulings. Lawyers endlessly search the United States for these judges and file lawsuits as quickly as they find them. It is then the obligation of the law-abiding agencies of government to have these orders overturned. The danger is unparalleled. These judges want to assume the powers of the presidency without having to attain 80 million votes. They want all of the advantages with none of the risks. Again, a president has to be allowed to act quickly and decisively about such matters as returning murderers, drug lords, rapists, and other such type criminals back to their homeland, capitalized, or to other locations that will allow our country to be safe. It is our goal to make America great again, and such a high aspiration can never be done if radical and highly partisan judges are allowed to stand in the way of justice. Stop nationwide injunctions now before it's too late. If Justice Roberts and the United States Supreme Court do not fix this toxic and unprecedented situation immediately, our country is in very serious trouble. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that does sort of sound like a threat to the Supreme Court. And maybe you wouldn't call it a threat, but it's pretty strong language to use towards the Supreme Court. Earlier this week, a person who I happen to be a fan of Chief Justice John Roberts, in a response, in a very rare response to President Trump calling for the impeachment of a federal judge, said this: "For more than 2 centuries, it has been established that you..." Let me start that again. For more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. Roberts said in a rare public statement, "The normal appellate review process exists for that purpose." It's weird. When you read Trump and then you read a normal sentence, the normal sentence looks weird. What it seems to me here is Donald Trump has a problem with people reviewing and questioning the legality of his decisions. They may be leaning on the left side with their political leanings, but simply reviewing his orders as president and checking the legality of it, I don't know. This seems like a crazy situation. Hey, look at that. Graham Booth. What is up, man? Long time no see. Old friend. Glad to see you, brother. You're the best. I hope you're well and the family as well. And I know you guys have been doing great things, man. Proud to say that we shared the screen together. Maybe you want to join us tonight. If you do, it would be great. If you want to chill and talk in the chat, it would be great too. And if you don't come back at all, hey, you said something else. Oh man, this is great. All right. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, it's 11:30 too. You got that time thing. Get an extra hour over there for now, for another week. So thanks for being here. And hi, wife. Cup of tea. Anybody else I missed in there? No. All right, cool. Good to see everybody. You ready, Last Dance? All right. What's going on, man?
Hey, happy Friday for a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Little different, change of pace. You got a buddy visiting?
Tomorrow, yep.
Excellent.
It's probably 7 weeks, so yeah.
Well, we had a gorgeous day today here. It was a little chilly, like 55, but I'll take it. Sunny all day. Very nice day.
That's awesome, man. We'll get back to this Trump thing a little bit later, but I remember you made a declaration last year when I was raving about having so many great vegetables, yada yada, from the garden. Are you going to do it? You said you were going to do it.
Yeah, I think I am. I think
Good man.
I'm going to get started this week.
Awesome.
Not plant them outside yet, but start them inside.
You going to go seeds?
Depends.
It's cheaper, but way more work.
Yeah, I know. I'll see what it costs to get already sprouted plants.
Yeah, little ones should be $2 to $3 a piece, or a tray for like $6 of 6. So
yep.
That's awesome. I'm glad, because your gardening season is pretty much probably about a month ahead of mine, right?
I think it's longer. Yeah, I don't know if it's a whole month, but
I generally plant around the end of April, which is considered early here. So you should be able to plant any day now, I would think, as long as it doesn't frost at night, right?
Yeah, it's not going to frost. Technically, the average day of the last frost is like the last day of March.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's going to be any more frosts this year.
Well, not likely. And speaking of frost, a rather frosty exchange coming from Chief Justice Roberts towards Trump.
Well, he was absolutely right, though. I mean, and this screed by Trump it's stupid and it's wrong. And it doesn't matter if these judges are wrong. There is an appeal process, and district court judges typically are not as good as circuit court judges, who are not as good as the Supreme Court justices. So,
Hmm.
you know, if you think you have a valid case, you're the federal government. You can appeal, and your appeal will be heard. So, I'm not. I don't like these things Trump's saying. I don't like this tweet that he just sent out that you read.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't either.
it just gets the people who are rabid into you know, a frothy rage, and this has to be played out in the courts. Not I don't want people like protesting judges' houses, or
Right.
you know losing their minds. It's just not the way to go. And yes, RW, I do think the judicial branch is potentially overreaching, but these cases are brought before them. They are allowed to rule. Their rulings appear to be, uh, if you read these opinions, they appear to be well considered.
But
And
politically motivated.
I don't know if they're politically motivated, like the opinion by Judge Boasberg that everyone is screaming about, that stopped the Venezuelan deportations. What he was saying was that there's no emergency here. These people are in custody. Whether they're deported now or in a month or not at all, but you still have them in custody. So it's not an emergency. So a temporary restraining order is reasonable while we
Let,
review the facts.
let me change my thing from saying politically motivated to, um, I don't know how to phrase it other than like to describe it, like probably a lot of right leaning judges would be conscious of what this left leaning judge said and would probably agree with him. I mean, laws are laws. There's some wiggle room, but not really. If you're going by the letter of the law, I guess it comes down to is if the judge feels strongly about it, then he's going to um, rule on it. There are other judges that could have ruled on it, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't. Judge Boasberg didn't rule on what they call the merits. He
Right.
wasn't saying that these deportations are illegal, even. He was just saying, stop them while we can review, so we can review this.
Right. That's
So,
sort of, yeah.
and he argued that it was okay to stop them because it wasn't an emergency. It wouldn't burden the government terribly, and so there's not an issue. And most judges, because they take their judgeship seriously, will are not just there as representatives of one party or one point of view. They try to follow the law,
Mm,
and that's their reasoning. That doesn't mean every judge is like that. There's clearly been plenty of biased judges out there, but
sure.
you're most likely going to get, no matter who you get, whether it's an Obama judge or a Trump judge or a Biden judge, you're most likely going to get someone who's is going to follow the law carefully.
Hmm.
And they may come up with the wrong answer, but hey, you get to appeal.
Right. And the wife here says, we're assuming he is slightly left leaning, but some of his judgments in the past have benefited Trump. I think he sided with Trump's argument about the tax return issue. So it's not as though he's a radical left leaning judge, as Trump would say.
And I mean,
And Trump, frankly, sounds kind of like petulant child when he puts these rants together.
yeah, it's
When all
exactly
they're
what he is.
doing is, like you said, they're going over it, they're reviewing it to see the legality of it, and frankly, what that usually means is there's something off. It's not like they're going to do that about something that's um, obviously in lockstep in line with the law. This clearly is, walking the line, on the fence here between whether or not he can use it or not for this particular purpose. And it's possible not, because it's a wartime thing.
I mean, one thing about deportations is you can't undo them. Once somebody is deported, that you cannot re-import them. It's done. So judges are going to be conservative in the sense that they're going to want to stop deportations where parties have articulated some sort of reasonable legal argument that suggests that they might not be allowed or acceptable or violate some provision. That it takes the barest minimum amount of likelihood that they will succeed for the judge to want to preserve the status quo when it comes to something like deporting someone. He's going to want to stop it until they can look at the merits and have a trial based on the merits. So I don't see anything wrong with what these judges are doing. I'll pay more attention when this gets to the appellate level at the circuit court level.
What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I have my own opinions, but I would love to see the opinions of the justices that rule on this.
You think this is going to go that far?
Well, the circuit court is just the next level up.
Right. Now, do you think it's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court?
Some of these will, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it would really test some of them to choose between law and loyalty. I would tend to think, I would hope at least, that they would all be going with law, but Thomas, I think I've seen him go with loyalty in some directions here. I don't think Roberts ever would. I think Roberts is pretty good judge, honestly, but I don't know.
Thomas, I think, is the best. He doesn't care about whose side the case is on. He's got his own theories, and he's always going to vote his conscience. He many times has been a lone dissenter in his career. So,
but he's also been a dissenter, a minority dissenter, in cases where other Republicans went in the other direction and it didn't seem logical for him to. You don't think he has ever gone with his loyalty to the Republican Party in any of his judgments? No,
never.
Anita Hill would say otherwise. I'm sure you remember that whole scenario.
I sure got a pubic hair in here.
There you go. I still can't believe that shit. Disturbing. All right, Based Walshman, I saw you. You're on here. Yes,
Thomas. Not only is Thomas not the most corrupt judge, he's not corrupt in any way, shape, or form at all.
Based Walshman.
Yeah. Well, how are you doing, chaps?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Not bad. Good evening, everyone. Last dance.
Good, good. Boy, that is a nice, smooth sound you got there tonight.
Oh, goodness me.
Last week, you had this weird staccato, choppy thing going on. I don't know why I just did that. This week, it's nice. Good audio.
Starting out nice.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
how's it going, man? How's the week?
Trump and his rhetoric again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope what he says and what he does are two different things, which he's got form for.
Well, he seems to say more than he does.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about this recent thing with him wanting to impeach judges who go against him?
Well, I think it's a bad idea, and it appears that he's just babbling.
It does.
I
That's
don't.
for sure.
I don't see anybody taking any action on that. So, you know, I don't.
I mean,
I'm
I don't
not
know what
going to. I don't respect someone in that position, that Trump I'm talking about, who can't control what he says, who can't restrain his emotions, and basically acts like a child having a temper tantrum every other day.
Can you
You
give me
know,
an Can you give me an example of what the judges, or this accused left-wing sort of anti-American judges, what they're ruling against? Like, just give me an example of.
well, I'll give you one example. The Judge Boasberg, Trump was going to deport these Venezuelans.
Right.
He actually had them ready to go, and even did deport some of them.
Right.
And the judge issued a temporary restraining order barring those deportations from going ahead. And it appears
On
as
on the
though
grounds of what?
that the people who were suing Trump to stop the deportations had at least a reasonable argument that needed to be heard. So he did not judge the merits of the argument. He just said that
Said that we can
you
go through
needed
with the
to
process. You need
needed to
time.
go through with the process,
Yeah.
and to preserve the status quo, he ordered them not to be deported because you can't undeport
Okay.
someone once they're deported.
And the crime is that they illegally gone into the country, basically, and they're not gang members.
Well, I mean, there's a number. Yeah,
I mean, if it's a
it's
mix,
the,
if it's a mixed bag,
the
then
merits. I think. I mean, I don't want these people in the country, but it's what is due process? It means that people are treated individually, not as a group. And so it's not enough for me to say that they're all Tren de Aragua members because the government says so. Well, that's why there's immigration judges, and that's why there is due process even for illegal immigrants once they're in the United States. What I say is don't let asylum seekers in the country. Keep them.
he has dropped it by, I think it's either 85% or 90%.
Right.
People coming through the southern border. There was it was a really good interview with Nick Shirley. He's a YouTuber, and he went to these clash towns just on the other side of the border, or these clash sort of little homesteads. And this woman said it was like 250, 500, 1,000 walking through their land every day.
Yeah.
And she said on an interview, and this came out in March, about a week ago. She said that she's had one Chinese woman with a child since January.
Wow.
And she was getting 200, 500, 750 a day going through her
Yeah. No,
land.
that is great.
She's witnessed one person with a child, which is what a crazy sort of thing as well, because very
I mean,
vulnerable.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, of course. The
as soon as
deterrent is huge.
right. I mean, Biden's claims that we're doing
He needed a
everything we
law.
can. Right.
Yeah,
Well, I knew that
we
was
needed
bullshit.
to change the law to do
Everybody
something.
knew that was bullshit, and Trump has proved that it was bullshit. But we all knew it anyways. As soon as it becomes hard to come into the United States, and as soon as it looks like it's going to be like something you don't want to do, it's going to rebound against you. People stop coming in, just like that on a dime.
And the thing is, if before there was like 5,000-10,000 coming through a day, how many rapes, murders, and sort of people dying attempting to cross the border because we know that. Sorry, I'll go TikTok on you. Grapes. We know grapes is a huge problem.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's an epidemic there. Like
Of course, because
in that grey zone in between the two countries,
right,
and
because the people
so
who
the
are trying to
lives,
get in are vulnerable.
yeah, and the
It's
lives, the lives technically saved. I know people will go
yes,
like it's huge just alone because if there was 5,000 a day, just say on average, and these coyotes are graping like teenage girls and mothers,
yeah,
then I'm sorry, we're mostly talking hundreds a day. Because I
Yeah.
tell you another thing, when they leave, they get a grape kit. When they leave Mexico, women get given a grape kit because
yeah,
basically it's inevitable this is going to happen, or there's a high possibility it's going to happen.
Mm.
that's
Let me
It's
ask
that's
you this.
outrageous.
it is
It is
outrageous.
outrageous. Let me
Should give
ask
him
you
a
this.
gun, not a
Yeah.
grape kit.
With Biden and his assertion that he couldn't do anything, was it, let's face it, it wasn't ignorance. He knew he could do something.
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
So then what was the reason for not doing anything? Some
It's
people would
it's
say
Democrat voters.
to destroy our country. Is it to gain votes? Is it to, I mean,
Yeah,
even Democrats I know would be horrified to think that he did nothing, and were horrified that the state of it got to. So what was he doing, you know?
I,
Steve, in this, sorry, last dance, but in this YouTube from Nick Shirley, right? He asked the three people there, and they all said the same thing: Democrat votes, importing Democrat voters. That's basically what their idea has been for a while.
Well, it failed because he
Yeah,
lost. Well, she lost, but she was him, you know, essentially.
exactly. Yeah,
And their technique, their plan failed miserably.
and Trump got more Hispanic voters than I think any Republican had for decades and decades.
well, he increased his percentage rate on all minorities
Right,
throughout the board.
right. It's not clear that'll hold. It might have just been a one-time thing, but yeah, so it's a good question. There's the conspiracy is that this is the Democrats' way of minting voters that will be beholden to them. I don't I
It
don't know
wouldn't
how
be so,
that's
yeah, but it wouldn't be so bad last dance if they turned around and that was their ploy, which I believe it has been for a long time, over a decade. But they got rid of the major wrong ones, the gang members, these
right, right.
M18. So if say for example these Democrats, when Biden was in power, done some serious fucking work to get rid of these wrong ones, right? I'm sure they would have like you get these libtards in America, fucking crazy as fuck. Oh yeah, they're great, great. Well, the problem is that they claim a lot on benefits. They claim a lot on social services. There's a there's a lot of you need to pick who you get through into your country. If they're not an asset, the UK are a prime example. If they're not an asset, then they're just a drain on society. That's why Australia, for example, I wouldn't be able to get into Australia. Got no trade.
Right.
I would need a job. I would need a house. I would need to pay for the house up front. The kids would need to be enrolled into school already. Everything needs to be in hand. In the
Hmm.
UK, we just accept them like you do in America.
Good
Crazy.
evening, all. Good evening, all.
Sounds like
Leon,
Lee.
how are you
It
doing?
is. It is. God bless
Hey.
America, home of the brave. How are you all doing?
All right. Good to hear
Pretty
from
good.
you. I hope you're doing
It's
okay.
it's funny, just kind of going on from what Welshie's. Hiya, Welshie. How you doing, buddy?
Right.
How's Trigger?
And
Grand.
finally.
Yeah,
Is
he's
he all
awesome.
right? Yeah, oh,
Yeah, he's
cool.
brilliant, mate.
Yeah, good. That's good to hear. I was going to say, it's funny you just mentioning the fact that the Biden time. It's irrespective of what he did and what he didn't do. I think when it comes to Kamala, and I think we might have touched on this before, the biggest downfall for her, I thought, was that one question: what were you going to do differently? And she said nothing. And that if she could have broke loose, then said, "I'm going to sort the border out." Blah blah blah. She could have made an excuse that she was under control. She had to toe the line. But now, I'm campaigning to be the president, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what we're going to sort out. And she didn't. She said that. She sat there and went, "I'm not going to." There's nothing to change. And I think maybe only you can answer this more than I can, that the American public lost faith and just thought, well,
how was she supposed to win these independent voters if she was going to toe the line on the Joe line? So if she was just not going to say anything out of turn to Joe, she was never going to swing that 4%.
I agree with you, Base, but it was bad advice. She should have stuck out and said, "I'm me. I'm not everything you've seen before. I'm still part of that." She should have broke out and said, this is the difference.
I agree.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a challenge. It's a hard thing to do when you're the vice president for a sitting president. You have to, as I've said, you have to artfully distinguish yourself. Politicians are great at using weasel words, and so it's not like Kamala was some.
She's rubbish at it.
It's not like she was
some politicians are good
paragon of honesty.
Right.
So I mean, I just kind of think she's kind of lazy, and just wasn't into working hard. That it would take to figure out a way to enunciate her own policies at the same time as not throwing Biden under the bus. I mean, it's a challenge. But if you're going to be president, you should be up to that challenge.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I don't understand, because, you're talking about politics, a ruthless world. They're semi-psychotic anyway to be in that position. You sort of need that in your DNA.
Exactly.
I'm surprised she didn't just throw him under the fucking bus. Fuck it. I want to be president.
Yeah. She had to. She really had to stand out. And she have to throw him under the bus. She could have said, "Look, if I'm president, I'm going to be doing some things different to Joe, and this is what it is. This is what I'm going to do different." And basically, it wouldn't have made any difference at that point. I think it was the last 2 months she had that interview, so it wouldn't have made any difference. It was past she had 4 or 5 months to put it together.
Yeah, but it was a foolish strategy. She, at one point, almost tried to bridge the gap and said, "I have a Glock." Okay, wow, okay. So you're now you're going to tell us you're pro gun, you're pro firearm. But if that was going to be a thing for her, she should have went down that and made that a thing, and not said kind of swept it under the rug. If they're trying to separate themselves from the ultra left, ultra progressive, then they need to. And continuing to latch on to this the male and female sports thing and gun control, and then she has a Glock. Her message was completely kind of murky. You know what I mean?
Right.
Steve, she had the same advisor as Elizabeth Warren, cracking a beer open out the fridge.
That's
the thing. It's so fake. They've done it recently, didn't they? All doing this jumping a video posed. All the women Democrats jump. That's so bad. It's like they keep on going through the same fucking advisors, like the Elizabeth Warren with cracking the beers, and it's just what are you doing? It's so funny. You look at it, you think you can't take any of that seriously.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really a shame, because not a shame, but she had more potential than what she let out, and the whole party, I think in hindsight, realized how much they failed, obviously, keeping the, next candidate close to the vest, she's right next to Biden. Yeah, that didn't work. A whole new thing would have been a lot smarter.
The thing is, Steve, right? What's crazy is there's so many anti-Trumpers. You see them in the chat now, but there's so many people that are so anti-Trump. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the Democrats have done, because what the Democrats did, they lied, and the legacy media, they lied to the U.S. public, the world media. They all lied to say Joe was fine. He was sharp as a tack. All that fucking nonsense. Right? and if it wasn't for Trump being in the Republicans now, I think it would have been a complete landslide. There's just so many people in America that are so sort of anyone bar Trump. they couldn't give a fuck whether they'd been lied to for 4 years or at least 3.5 years. They really couldn't give a fuck.
No, I mean, it's not. I never really. I found it surprising that there was an eye-opening, shock after the debate that somehow they just recently discovered that
Right.
Biden was. I mean, we've been joking about it
Yeah,
since he
me
became
and
president. He was
me
so
and you,
obviously out of it.
me and you had bets, didn't we? And you were even later than me. We were saying he was going to pull out by like February or March. I think I said.
Yeah.
You were saying August or something, weren't you? Didn't you say something quite late on? You weren't far out.
Well, I said early on that he wasn't going to be the nominee. He was the nominee, but he eventually didn't make it all the way. When did he pull out? Wasn't it September?
It was
Well, when did
about
he-
100 days from the election.
What
About
months did you
100
give?
days.
You were later than me. Everyone, we were there was a few people laughing at each other. But I remember you said later than me.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
thought it was
I didn't
April or
think he
March.
would. I didn't think he would be nominated, so that was surprising.
But you were on the money. You were on the money.
Yeah.
Was it a tactic that they did it after the primaries, or was that just
Yeah.
a realization they had? Oh shit, we
No.
screwed this one up.
They
No,
didn't want the primaries. They didn't want the primaries, didn't they? They didn't want
No,
all
I
the
think-
Although Biden won the primary,
I
obviously.
think they had. I mean, they had been doing the weekend at Bernie's thing for the whole 4 years. He wasn't. So
So
they
you
were.
think they intentionally stuck his corpse up there for the primaries and then laid him back down like Bela Lugosi style? And then
Yes.
bingo,
Yes,
she's up there.
They thought they could. They thought that they could cram his brain full of adrenochrome and talking points, and he would get through that debate. I mean, that it might have been hope talking louder than kind of experience, but they planned on weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Him through the election and through the next 4 years as well.
So Piers Morgan did an interview with a Democrat advisor, and this was early in the Ukraine war, and he made some decisions. And when this reporter spoke to him about these decisions, I can't remember the exact. So I can't really pinpoint what was. It was about Ukraine and Russia, and he said, "Oh, you've pulled out of that." So he said, "No, I haven't." He said, yeah, you have. You haven't. And he said, no. And he kept on saying it. And he said, at that point, the reporter knew that he didn't even know what the fuck was going on. This is the realization. He realized that he hasn't got a fucking clue. If he did sign it, he didn't know what he was fucking signing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When somebody fumbles words and misnames countries and injects the wrong country here and there, either they're high, drunk, or they have, dementia. They're on drugs or they're impaired from something they can't control.
I mean, it's especially surprising because Biden, had an encyclopedic knowledge of foreign affairs. He would have been, that should have been his strong suit.
Policy, right? Yeah.
Foreign affairs policy, kind of history there. So,
yeah.
that was his
Especially when you
strength.
consider how long he's been in politics as well.
Well, yeah, but I
50
mean,
years, wasn't it?
in that
Can you
case,
imagine 20 years ago? Sharp as
it
a
should-
tack he was then, but I bet he was
Yeah.
sharp as a tack 20 years ago. But like you said, the difference, if you actually done it before and now, would be crazy, wouldn't it?
He was still out of touch. That whole corn pop story and the fucking kids rubbing his legs when he was in the pool.
That was 10, 15 years ago, wasn't it?
He was
the corn pop story is legend.
He was very well with it then, but that was him.
I've shown you
trying
the
to
cartoon,
relate.
and I've shown you the cartoon of the corn pop one, haven't I?
Yes.
I don't remember, but I still don't know if that story's real or just some demented brain fart that he did.
Yeah, that
he was a bad dude.
What kind of a person in any era, even in the 50s and 40s, who was trying to be fearful, would give himself the moniker corn pop? I mean, there's never been an era where corn pop would be a name that would strike terror in your heart upon hearing it. So I don't know. It just didn't sound right.
when he told that story, he also said, and when Corn Pop came up at me, I said, "Listen, Mabel," and then he goes, "Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that." Like he realized he's like misgendering him, and that's against what his party wants to do. So he's like
Yeah.
trying to talk, but he has to correct himself. Like you said, that might have been 20 years ago. I mean, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, you're right, most surely.
I mean, he was always a strange guy, but then you mix in the cognitive decline, and it was,
I've shown that to people, the corn pop story, and I've shown them the cartoon, and they said, "I don't believe you." And I said, and of course, in the options was the actual speech where he gave it, right? So I went, I'll play this."
right.
And
So
he's like, "Wow."
I see Incarnation notes that Trump babbles all day long.
Incarnation is not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. And the thing is, Trump's always been that way. So that, the funny thing is, I don't think we'll ever know if he gets dementia, because his normal non-demented state of mind sounds a lot like any other person's dementia.
What was the word that Trump made up that's turned into a meme? What's the word?
Ofevi?
Yeah, Ofefi, wasn't it? Ofefi or something?
Kofefi, yeah. I saw that license plate a few months ago.
Now, what's funny about that is that it was a meme he was trying to throw out there.
I think he just tweeted that at like 1 a.m. That's it. It was Kofefi, and that was the tweet. And everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
I think I've tweeted shit like that. Well, it's in your pocket. You know when it's in your pocket? You can do that, but I don't know. It was never explained, was it?
No, people were like, "Is that the nuclear code? What did he just tweet? What is this? Like, what the hell?" Nobody knew, and it's never been addressed by him or anyone else.
Interesting situation, though. I want to know. So you've got Smokesteve, you've got Last Dance. You're living in the country where your president is Donald Trump, and for all the people that hate him or love him, we've got to accept the fact that he won the election, and he won it well. He won the popular vote, Senate, House, everything else. So what is it that you think got him over the line to win that election? And also just for you both to answer that separately, because like I said, whether you love him or hate him, he won the election. So what is it that he got into the American under their skin where they thought it was worth voting for him? Now, I take into account that a lot of people voted against him, but he won the election. He won it well. So what was it that you felt? Was it just Biden and what he stood for and the way that he was acting and his dementia maybe and this, that, and the other? What I'd just be interested, because you live there and you're in a country where they voted him in. So, what was it you think that made him win? I'll start with Smokesteve. Go.
I think the perception of the response to COVID by the left left a really bad taste in people's mouths, for one.
Yeah.
Number two, the underwhelming performance of Kamala. I don't think she was a very inspirational candidate, gathering votes, getting things like that, getting people to the polls. And it just seemed like the left were focusing on things that people were sick of, and the right was talking about things that were really obvious and problematic. Frankly, one of the number one things was the border. We'd all been hearing it. Even if you listen to NPR, they had guys on border, agents who were talking about 100,000 people a month. How the agents are working 16-hour days and they can't even come close to processing the amount of illegals that were coming over. Everyone hears that and they're like, "Holy Jesus, this thing is a disaster."
Yeah.
These things really hurt the Democrats. And then, Trump picked the right things to focus on, and was all that he needed. And like I said, the underwhelming aspect of Kamala was, majorly problematic too. So Last Dance, your thoughts?
Nothing burger. She's a nothing burger, isn't she?
I'd have to say that's exactly what I would say. I think the other things are that the whole woke, and I won't define that. You can define it however you want. It's certainly an inexact word, but the whole woke thing peaked And
Right.
and then there was kind of an anti-woke backlash that kind of coincided. The timing was right with that election. And then, then the other things that Smokesteve mentioned were, huge.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
So would you say that the general public of the USA in total, throughout the whole country, irrespective of where you lived, that everybody was getting concerned about the migrants coming across the border? Played a big part. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Right. Interesting. Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I've brought up before here many times, in urban Boston, they took away like this huge $500 million rec center for underprivileged like citizens of the city.
That pissed you off, didn't it? That's Steve.
But the interesting thing is, they interviewed some guys, and these guys are like, I work. I want to come here. I want to work out. I want to play basketball. I want to fucking hang out with my friends. This is in our community. And they're fucking screaming like, what the fuck? You took this from us? Like, what? And they're so right, man. Like, these are black dudes. They're like, don't have a lot of money. They're barely squeaking by. This thing was put together for them and their kids. And like, they were just bullshit about this, man. And I'm not even angry about it. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't live there. It's more that I'm like vicariously angry because of them.
Yeah. I remember you bringing it up, and you said basically it's a place that benefits and targets and underprivileged kids mainly.
Kids and adults, everybody.
Yeah, basically they've closed it fucking down and they filled it up with migrants, which is like obviously pissed off for the locals, isn't it? I mean, who's going to be pleased with that?
Exactly. And we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars is being allocated to that every 6 months when they have to redo the budget.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions. In Massachusetts, we got money, but we don't have money to burn like that, that money's supposed to go to the citizens, the residents of the state, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there was one thing you didn't mention when you mentioned the YE1, and I hate to mention Piers Morgan once, but not twice tonight. But he makes a very good point occasionally, like the clock's correct twice a day, which was the trans ad, which was I'm for you and she's for they them.
They them. That was a great line.
So that they believe, and I think that's pretty secure. They reckon up to 3 to 4 percentage points.
I heard at a minimum 2 to 2.5, and if that's an estimate, easily 3, maybe 4. That is a huge amount of votes.
Well, that was a 20. I think that was a 20-second ad, 27-second ad or something.
Work your magic, buddy. Let whoever you want. I gotta go to the driveway. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
And keep your finger hovering if you let that new person in. Hover.
Yep. Okay. Hey.
Kick me.
Hi guys.
Hi, Aphil.
Hi guys.
Hello, Debbie. How are you?
Yeah. I don't know what
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the pub.
Thank you, man.
I don't know if you've got your echo cancellation on, but if you can put that on, whoever just.
I don't think that's me. Is that me?
You sound good to me.
Yeah, well, you and Aphid turned up at the same time, and that's when the buzzing happened. So.
Do you hear it now?
Should I mute myself?
No, you're good, as far as I could tell.
Do you hear it now?
Both.
That's it. You've done it. It's better now.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Good.
How are you, Aphid? What you been doing, bud?
Oh man, living life to the fullest. What else you gonna do?
Living the dream. What you drinking?
Little shock top tonight. A little something little something different.
Okay. What are you drinking, Last Dance? What's that? Let's have a look. Teeling. Whiskey. Okay. Cool.
Hey, Ethan, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, thanks.
Are you
Yeah,
drinking?
yeah.
Says you're not on your good mic.
Oh, that's probably right. That's probably right.
Definitely coming through the camera, probably, or whatever.
Are you having a drink, Debbie? Are you drinking?
Yeah, I'm on the wine.
Oh, right. Okay. What kind of wine? Dry, sweet,
Brancott Estate. It's called Brancott Estate.
Brancott Estate. Okay.
Very nice. It's very nice. Very nice.
Good.
Well, it's a white wine. It's white wine.
Yeah, nice one. You're right.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, I'm just pouring out. I'm just pouring out another glass now. Very nice.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, and my wife likes a my wife likes a Chardonnay spritzer with a splash of seltzer and white wine, which is good.
What's a spritzer? I'm not quite
Wine and
familiar
lemonade.
with what a spritzer is.
It's
Well,
usually
you
wine
fill
and lemonade.
you put your white wine, you fill the glass about halfway with a few ice cubes, and then you top it off with just seltzer.
Oh, all right.
So
All
it's like a fizzy or
It's like a carbonated weakened wine.
Are you having
Yeah,
a drink?
exactly.
Are you having a drink, Base?
Okay.
Welshman never drinks.
He doesn't. Oh, I thought he did.
Yeah, I don't drink at home really. Well, saying that, I had 2 beers this evening.
Oh, that's all right. What kind of beer?
Just some French import shit.
1664.
It was from
Is
it's from
he
Lidl.
from England?
Yes.
Base. No, he's Welsh.
Same place, isn't it?
Is he
Based-
English?
No way!
Welsh
Don't
is
say that to a Welshman. You'll have your head off.
Yes.
Dave's from Wales and Lee is from England.
Oh, sorry.
That's
No,
all right. I'm joking.
Where are you from,
He
Debbie?
sounds English.
Based is Welsh.
Yeah,
I'm-
Aphid, you mustn't
Can he
forget
speak Welsh?
that the Welsh are the original Brits.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Lacanwy. I speak a little bit of Welsh. Do
I
you
ha-
speak any Welsh? I speak Welsh.
No, not really.
Laclanwy.
No.
I have a
doesn't-
feeling I'll
I
forget.
like my favourite line. If any of you know the
Oh.
Blackadder series, is
It's
never
a
go
bit
to
disappointing.
never go to Wales Baldrick. You need half a pint of phlegm just to
I do
pronounce
Eastwind.
the names.
Oh, that's funny. You need phlegm. Debbie, you're in
Yes, Baldrick.
you're in
Oh,
the UK somewhere.
Debbie. Yes, I am.
That's cool. That's cool. You sound like it, but you don't have to say where. But
Yeah,
we-
whereabouts are you from, Debbie?
Well, I'm from the UK.
Yeah, but
UK.
where? What county?
Well, I don't want to give my location away. Okay.
That's okay.
A,
That's
a
okay.
county's all
Thank
right.
you very
That
much.
doesn't mean an address, does it? It's just a county.
Lee, you're
Well,
in
I live in the
Lincolnshire.
UK. Okay.
Sorry,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
UK. Yeah, cool.
I
okay.
live in the UK. Okay.
Okie dokie. No props.
Can't you guys tell from
Okey-dokey, very
accents?
much.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
don't
think
care.
Debbie's somewhere in the
Yes.
south of the
Just-
country. I'm Manchester. I'm Manchester, but I think Debbie's somewhere in the south.
Oh,
She's
okie
got a-
dokie.
but I might be wrong. But you got a nice.
Well,
soft
yes. Well, yes, you kind of correct.
Thank
That's
you.
fine. It doesn't matter. If you're not comfortable with that, I don't want to push it. It's all good. Thank you for being here. You are more than welcome. And what do you let's go, Debbie. Trump, fan or not?
Not.
Not a fan. Okay. Well, be gone with
Not
you,
a
woman.
fan,
No,
no.
it's fine. It's fine.
Are you
I-
fans of Donald Trump? Are you fans of Donald Trump?
honestly, I'm not. Well, let's go down the line. I am not. Last dance.
I would say not a fan of the man himself. No.
Base Welshman.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah. He's what America needed, and you need a basic leader.
Paco.
but don't take no shit. And you just got one, and you voted for him. So good luck to you.
You've also mentioned that you
So
know
you are a fan.
he's but Based Welshman, you've mentioned he's problematic. It's not
Oh
perfect.
yeah. Of course, he's not perfect, but you definitely needed a straight up leader and not taking any shit, and that's exactly what you got. So I wish you all the best.
Lee,
I'm a Trump fan, and I guess the fact that he is somewhat bombastic, bull in a china shop, so to say. My last comments about him is sometimes you need to crack some eggs to make an omelet.
yeah, he's
So we're going to get an omelet?
Yep, you
Because
are
egg
a
prices
good
are too
one.
high right
The
now.
best, as Trump would say, the best omelet in the
Interesting.
world.
David Lip.
Huge fan. He's
Who's?
got a tattoo of him on myself. You know, only one I've ever got. You know, I couldn't. My whole life, I couldn't think of any one thing I would want on my body until Trump came along, and he broke that rule.
Hey,
David Lip,
could Trump make
fired.
an omelette of the whole world? Could Trump make an omelette of the whole world with World War III?
Well, the only thing I would add is that I'm a Trump fan because of who he was up against. I would rather have Trump in power than Kamala. Had there been a stronger candidate, then I might have changed my mind. But I think he was the better of the two evils.
And let's get back to Debbie's
no, wait there. I'm sure Debbie can agree on that. We wouldn't want a screeching woman with her voice for 4 years, would you? You really wouldn't. We can all agree on that.
Well, I would prefer someone. I would prefer someone other than Donald Trump.
I'm thinking of getting a female corrective surgery only because I want him to grab me.
Yeah.
That's how much. That's how much I love him.
Just on the small chance.
Yep.
You missed out. You missed out.
Did you just invent a new surgery? Female corrective surgery?
I don't know what it's called, but that's what
Good
I'm gonna.
We'll accept that.
I'm gonna get it done,
and we'll use it against you later.
Oh, Mick.
Her voice went straight through me, to be fair, every time she talked, because she didn't make much sense the best of the time. But her voice, I'm not being funny, Debbie. It was like chalkboard territory.
Kamala Harris, do you mean?
Kamala Harris, yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so there you are. I think we can all agree on that.
Citizens.
Topple was a big fan of her. He stood up for her.
Topple, what's going on?
When people said bad things about her, he was quick to her to save her.
Because the stuff that was being said was rude.
Yeah, he spelled chivalry with.
Didn't mean I voted for her though.
Are you guys queuing up? Are you guys queuing up to buy Teslas now? Now that you're into electric?
It's literally having an NPC on the panel, isn't it?
And Reverend Simon Sideways. Reverend Simon Sideways is in here. He's a big guy in the UK. Reverend Simon Sideways. And do you like electric cars now? Now that Donald Trump sanctions. What about you, Base Welshman?
Is your middle? Are you Joy Reid?
No.
She sounds like Joy Reid.
I can't keep my eyes off the Debbie M now. I'm waiting for something to pop up.
My finger is right over the
Base Welshman, hello. Hello, Base Welshman. Do you like electric cars now in Tesla? Are you going to be buying an electric car to save the planet?
So I was asked the question by someone else, a leftist, recently, and I said the same. I'll say the same thing I said to him, which is, I'd love to have a.
The suspense is killing me.
I know.
I would love to have a Tesla Plaid, but it wouldn't be my first supercar. I'll get a nice Porsche first. That would be my second or third supercar. So no, It wouldn't be my first supercar for sure. Might be my third.
Do you own a supercar, Welshman? Do you own a supercar?
No, but if I did own one, it wouldn't be a Tesla. That's my point. It would be a Porsche. Then eventually, after I could afford 2 or 3 cars, I'd get a Tesla.
Ah.
So what do you drive, Debbie?
Okay, so I drive a Porsche electric.
Porsche.
What model? What model?
There's only one. It's the Porsche Taycan.
I knew that.
Yes,
but...
the Taycan.
Those start around 200K.
I think you bailed her out.
Yes, they're very expensive.
Yeah,
so
you literally bailed her out.
I'm an expensive.
Steve.
Well,
yeah. Well,
just because I am on the left, it does not mean that. Just because I am on the left, it does not mean that I should abandon electric cars just because of Elon Musk. I abandon his. Endeavor to bring us electric vehicles, but there are so many other manufacturers out there that we can buy electric vehicles from, and so I go for those people.
Steve, you literally opened the two barn doors. Then you could have that trapped, but no.
Exactly.
You open the 2 barn doors into.
You cannot trap me. I'm sorry.
What?
You cannot trap me into any open yards. I'm sorry.
No, I think they had you there.
I'm untrappable. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so the people that were buying Teslas 3 years ago aren't buying Teslas now, the orange blue hair brigade, because Elon has a different political opinion in them. That was really clever.
Well, what's wrong with boycotting a guy that does Nazi salutes in the America's name and is sacking lots of federal employees?
Oh, no.
And so why wouldn't they want to? Hang on, just one moment. Why wouldn't they want to say, don't buy this guy's electric cars, just buy Porsche, buy Toyota, buy Volkswagen. They all make great electric cars.
They're not saying that. What they're doing, on a lot of occasions, they're keying cars, they're petrol bombing cars, they're firing guns through cars, and all these people, and all these, Debbie, all these idiots that have done, all these idiots that have done that are looking for 20 years because that's classed as terrorism. You can't do shit like that.
I like it. Boycott.
I know the tolerant left. The tolerant left.
It.
Yeah, I know the tolerant left.
We like it. We like it. He is an intolerant guy, so he's gonna have to pay the price.
Right. Well, there we go then. There you go then. Violence is the answer because you don't like his political opinion.
Yes, violence is the answer against the tyrant. I'm sorry,
the tolerant left.
It is.
Who are you referring to? Who's the tyrant?
Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Okay, so you can't call Elon. You can't call Elon.
What happened? You guys are very anti-left. That needs.
Hold on. She can't call for violence.
Well, I kicked her off because it's Crinkle, but
this is censorship. Yeah, this is exactly what Trump wants.
Well, I don't care about whether or not it's Crinkle. I think that call for violence needs to be.
How do you?
I would say it's a call for violence.
Well, that was a chick, wasn't it?
It's Crinkle.
Oh, there's you could.
There's a little twang in the background.
Get AI things.
Yeah, that's Crinkle.
Get rid of that.
Oh
yeah. I heard Based trying to tell us about how America is so much better with Donald Trump, and he's a fucking goddamn European. Not even. Hey, is that you there?
I believe America.
It's Grande.
Yeah, it
was
is. It's not just you're fucking pussy, dude. We're on Wi-Fi here.
Sort your act out, you fucking retard.
Hold on.
All right.
McGrandy, can you fix your audio, dude?
Pardon me?
Today
have double.
I might.
I
might.
Come on. You come on, all house of bells.
All right, you know what? I'll come back. See you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk.
Sunday.
Cock.
Last Stance, you're an asshole too. You know that.
Thank you. I love you. I love you too.
Now you're just such a fucking boot licking MAGA guy, and Aphid, you're gonna appreciate.
That's certainly what I'm known as.
McGrande, you gotta fix. If anybody else talk, that's how we think.
I'm gonna leave. That'll help you there, base.
Just come back.
Acid here, for Christ's sake.
Oh man, I can't. When I hear that repeat like that, I can't even think. Like when
I hate my own voice.
Oh, it's so like weird.
Hey, guess what you're going to be called in 10 seconds? You're going to be called. Odds on, you're going to be called. You're going to do that smartsy walk. What do they call it? The goose thing.
The goose stepping.
Yeah, you can't say it now. I mean,
you're not allowed to say that.
I don't know.
I think you just can't talk about global warming.
Whoa, stop! What are you doing? Don't put those words here.
Or trans.
No, I don't think that's covered anymore.
No, I've been getting these things underneath my streams whenever we talk about global warming that give a large article about global warming.
Oh, you fixed it because we're not hearing double now.
Perfect. You got it, buddy.
There we go.
Hey, McGrande, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. Good to see you, Top.
How are you, McGrande? Nice to see you.
Same with you, Aphid.
Hi,
Steve. As always, I appreciate your indulgence.
Oh, you left out Last Dance and
what about me,
Welshman?
Well, Last Dance,
Lap dance.
Dude, you're a bit of a bootlicker. I got to tell you.
Whose boots do I lick?
I think he just nailed the best nickname ever, Lap Dance.
I know. How was that missed?
How did we miss that all these years? Lap Dance. I love it. All right. Yeah.
Anyway,
back to the bootlicker talk. He licks boots.
If I might say that I have been observing you guys from, like I'm a prime directive guy, so I watch this shit from afar and try not to interfere too much. But you guys really scare the shit out of me because I don't know where you think you are in America or where American history is going right now, but you guys are endorsing this insanity, this whole president. We have one responsibility right now, and that is to resist, to defy, and to
protest.
But I'm not a protester, but I'm going to lay as many. I'm going to lay as many roadblocks as I can in front of this administration. It's an insanity. It is an absolute.
I predict that
absolute fucking atrocity what we're seeing right now, and we're marking our place in history, buddy. We're marking our place in history.
There's no illegal immigration going on. It's intolerable.
That's so terrible. You know what the funny thing is? Nothing's getting done. Nothing's getting done. You have disrupted. No, it's just like putting a fence. It's just like putting a fence across Mexico, and all the animals die. All the animals die because the natural fucking migratory patterns are fucking disrupted, and that's what Donald Trump has done. He is.
So you think the natural migratory patterns of people are being disrupted?
It's the same thing.
Who's dying?
Yeah, no one's dying. No one's dying crossing, are they? No one's getting grapes
Who's
crossing.
Dying, McGrand?
No one's dying.
A lot of people dying
of thirst.
There's a lot of people dying. There's a lot of people dying right now.
There's a
lot of people dying because of the lack of funding and the fucking disruption of natural fucking governance. This fucking president is not governing the country. He is fucking disrupting it. He is throwing in a fucking wrench into the gears of what Americans want. Americans want peace and fucking shut your fucking mouth. You're not an American, you fucker. Now we want to talk about immigrants. You have no say in this.
That would be like saying that I'm not a woman on abortion, so I've got no opinion.
Fucking system.
Good.
The whole fucking mechanism.
Disruption.
Did you notice the second word?
It's insanity, Last Dance. I'm glad you said that.
International.
I'm glad you said that because it really reveals what I always knew about you.
Oh, what's that?
Which is what?
Does he do funny steps and stuff?
Which is what? Wait, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
Well, man, I can't stop it.
I know. Well, throw it up there, buddy. Throw it up there. We got you.
Lick some boots.
No,
you're the first
Jewish. It's like
Jewish guy.
No, he's the first Jewish Nazi I've ever met.
Whoa! Bingo!
No, it's like black guys saying the N-word. He can get
whoa! Let's steer this another direction.
I said N-word.
Stop.
Okay.
I will. I'm going to take
I have to be a Nazi. I hate
McGrandy, on a serious note, can we agree on one? Hopefully, we can agree on this point I'm going to make.
I don't think you were.
Okay, but let's just try. Let's just try. So during the Biden government, the southern border was accepting 10,000 a day going through, and then. As soon as Trump came in, it stopped. And the first report.
So what? The whole fucking nation's being torn apart, you motherfucker. You have no right to even fucking interject that shit. Because you are a fucking obstructionist. All you do is fucking steer the conversation towards your bullshit. That is not the argument right now.
I haven't made my point.
We don't care about the southern border. We don't care about Biden. This is Donald Trump's administration. This is Donald Trump's time. Shut your mouth.
Right, let me make my point because I might change your opinion.
You made your point.
I might change your opinion. Let me make my point first. Let me make my point first.
Let him talk. Jesus.
Okay, like I said, like I'll go back a little bit. I hope we can both agree that obviously when Trump came in, the attempts from the southern border stopped by 97%. It's still now right up into the high 80s. Yeah, I'm sure we can agree together. That's a good thing.
I think that I am greatly distressed in watching this show before I entered and watching how you steer the conversation with your fucking Nazi bullshit. You steer it. You constantly steer it towards the major triggers that affect all the fucking
that's what the American voters
and that's
voted
immigration.
For.
And I've got to tell you something about America, Welshman. I have to tell you something about America, Welshman. America is a fucking country of immigrants. It is a country of immigrants that does not fucking favor a bunch of goddamn Nazis walking around. We fucking killed those motherfuckers in World War II. All right?
What are you on about? You're literally just in a TDS, like sort of steroid-induced fucking
No, I love this. This is beautiful because you cannot accept what a fucking idiot you are. I've been steering the conversation.
Whether you're Democrat,
and you know what?
Whether you're Democrat,
I'm here only
whether
because
you're a
of
Republican.
You. I'm here because of you, Dave.
Most Democrats.
I'm here because I want to drive you back.
McGrandy. Listen. I want to ask you something, right? Have you been for a swim today?
No.
This is why you're irritated. You've not got rid of all that energy you've got, mate. You know when you go swimming, you're a lot calmer. I swear it. Why haven't you been swimming today?
Well,
and just like the same, McGrandy, I haven't got the answer out of you.
Wow.
If you don't agree that it is a good thing, why is it not a good thing?
I want to know why you haven't been swimming today.
Your effort to acquiesce.
I mean,
I appreciate that.
I've come here for
and I appreciate
discussion.
our English friend's effort to soothe me with the swimming.
Well, I want to know why you haven't been. Why you go swimming all the time?
Because it's too fucking cold for me, man.
It's cold.
I'm a warm water. It's got to be 90 degrees for me to go swimming.
You live in Florida. How can it be
but it's got to be like 90 for me to go.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, McGrande. If you don't agree with the
wow, you guys have a calming effect. This is interesting, don't you think, Top?
McGrande, if you're gonna just avoid talking to me, I mean that just shows the level of
I'm trying to think of Patty Hearst and what was it called, the Helsinki syndrome. Whoa.
It's pretty low IQ debating if you're just going to avoid any contact.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome. That's it. That's interesting.
Very poor.
I mean,
wow, how everything became calm because Based backed off. Isn't that
I think you had what happened was
you and David have to appreciate that he backed off. You notice how I changed?
No,
I'm like
you
a straight
stopped
puppy,
interacting.
man.
It's you. It's you.
McGrady, are you getting tired of winning?
It's you, McGrady. He's right.
I am.
The reason it's gotten calm here is because you were just yelling at everybody that was here and calling half of the people Nazis. You know?
Yeah, and you know what? You know what happened? You let me talk.
Well,
you let me talk, dude.
Honestly,
didn't you?
It's insanely like you.
I don't think
you want me to talk. You want me to talk?
But you won't answer a question. I thought I'd give you a nice valid question.
No, I'm not going to go there, Based.
Well, there we go. I mean, that's
wait. I'm not interested in what you think or anything else.
Everyone on the panel.
I'm here to see Top.
Trump gave that as a policy.
Aphid,
the American public voted him in for it. It's worked.
Steve, of course.
And now you won't even admit that it's worked.
And Last Dance because you drive me fucking crazy.
You didn't even mention me. You horrible.
Well,
you didn't even say Lee. Come on.
I know Lee. I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
Yeah,
I just think you're a Nazi, dude. I'm sorry. I think Last Dance got hope because he's Jewish, but you know.
I mean,
hold on to that hope, Last Dance.
Only half Jewish.
And
the problem is
maybe that answers it.
He's quite racist, against Jews, English, and Welsh people. You can see how he doesn't want us in the conversation because we're not American.
I do see that.
And then he starts talking about Jews and stuff.
I don't feel.
No,
sick.
I'm doing exactly.
The tolerant left. It's the tolerant left.
Hey, Welshman, are you a multi-generational person in Wales? Like you long.
Yeah.
So I'd be willing to guess people in your parents, grandparents probably got bombed.
Yeah.
And who bombed them? Who was it that was dropping said bombs?
Nobody's dropping bombs in the Welsh. No, Wales was not bombed. It was all fucking Southern England.
He's a bit like Chile. He hasn't got a clue about history.
Yeah, Wales was bombed.
Well, there might have been some bombs. There might have been some bombs, but it wasn't like fucking England.
Let me just explain to you. Cardiff was one of the biggest ports in the world 150 years ago. I think it was the biggest. We had the first £1 million check. Google it. The first £1 million check was written in Cardiff docks. Okay,
I'm not going to defy you on this. You're the expert, buddy. I apologize.
Let me just tell you one more thing. Let me just tell you one more thing.
And fucking Chile is on the west coast of fucking South America, bitch.
Here we go. So let me just grant it. Let me just grant one more point. Where I actually sleep is a new development after the war, because what was here before was a row of houses and it got bombed, and where I live now is on the building that replaced the houses that were bombed.
Wow. Well, yeah, I've got to apologize then.
Okay.
It was
I think your misuse of that particular word is problematic, but if you want to call him something else, I think that's completely legitimate.
What word is that?
A Nazi? Because I don't think he is. But I think that word is thrown around way too carelessly these days.
I know, it is. But from my perspective, I got to tell you something, Steve.
You've just called a Jew a Nazi. Just let that settle in. You've just called a Jew
let me
a
explain.
Nazi.
I can explain. I can explain for you.
Let me explain.
I'll explain for you, McGrady.
No, don't explain.
No, let me explain.
Okay.
It's just you use that word because you're weak. You don't have any real arguments, and that's what that is a reflection of.
Okay. Can I respond to that?
Absolutely.
All right. So this is a weird story. I'm going to tell you something in confidence.
Make it long.
Nobody else listen.
Just answer the question.
Just listen. All right. My dad fought in Franco's army. Okay.
You told
he had to do the goose step. He had to do the goose step. Fuck you. You have no patience, you fucker. I'm trying to give you information you can use against me later.
Yeah, but basically, he just said you're weak.
No, you have no idea. You have no idea what it means. So, all right, obviously, his argument or interruption is more important.
Well, you called a Jew a Nazi.
I said,
it just shows.
Are you going to linger with that, or was I going to respond to it?
And your intelligence.
Was I going to? You frustrate me, man, because you're a fucking interloper.
You just answer the question.
You're an interloper. You're not seeking truth. You're seeking disruption.
I don't know what Franco.
You do not want the truth. You don't want a response. You want to fucking. You want to fuck with everything. You want to control the agenda, and that's exactly what I said earlier, Steve. You allow this man to control the agenda constantly, and the same with Last Dance and RW too. And RW, they're all a bunch of fucking they're all a bunch of goose steppers, dude.
This is not a formal conversation. This is a pub. We're drinking. We're hanging out. Some people are smoking. We're just people can control a conversation as they would anywhere in a casual setting. That's what this is.
So no, you allow.
Can you respond to Last Dance?
You can now. You allow it. He's driving the argument. Who's driving the agenda?
Well, Last Dance.
It's the Welshman. The Welshman is controlling the show. It's an absurdity.
McGrandy, that's not true.
It is true.
It's not true.
In this, he can interrupt, and if I interrupt, I am reprimanded. And if he interrupts, he is not.
Can you answer the question?
Why is that?
Last Dance place.
Because there's a slant. I've been watching the show. This is going to be good for YouTube. I've been watching the show from the beginning, and it's a fucking right-wing slant the whole way. The whole way.
Are you kidding?
And I don't know why you guys are doing this. We're Americans. Half you guys were fucking Democrats. You were fucking you understood justice. And now you're letting a fucking Welshman control the agenda.
Steve has been let down by legacy media and the narrative. And he's seen a bit of light.
All right, so I'm going to
conservative. He's not conservative, but he's not where he was 3 years ago, and that's because he's learned from the recent history and what's happened.
He's learned.
He's very much more skeptical on all sides. I would suggest. But good for him to question more. He questions more now,
dude. I keep thinking of that movie with Donald Sutherland and fucking a Nazi and fucking Ireland that was working. What was that called? It's just like you, man. You're the interloper. You are really the agent there. You are really the one.
What you don't understand
you talk a lot of shit without saying a lot, don't you?
No. You are an interloper.
The first
scary
conversation
fucker,
we had here was all about American politics, with everyone giving their opinions about things, particularly, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, the state of each other.
You're right. I interrupted it.
What got us to where we are now, and what led to Donald Trump winning, which was shocking for me. But it was it was a mistake by the Democrats, multiple mistakes that allowed Donald Trump to win. I think that's pretty well agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have ventured to guess you'd even agree with that, McGrand.
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah.
So that was the whole first part of the show. And then, drinks happen and we just kind of devolves into whatever. But
You're right,
this
Steve.
isn't a ship. This isn't a ship that I'm trying to steer constantly, dude. I'm
you know what? I have to apologize to you because you're absolutely right. I feel bitter, but it's not your fault because this is your agenda, and I really do apologize. This is really your agenda.
Not an agenda. This is the point of this.
And I wanted to give you a simple observation. I just want to hopefully add to the show, and I don't want to diminish it in any way, other than to say that was my opinion, and I could be wrong. So, we
all can be wrong, and I'm sure I'm wrong
as far
many
as
times.
I just don't get along with that.
I've
guy,
never been.
so.
I've never been wrong. Never been wrong.
You get worked up. You
you might believe you're right, but you find out you're wrong. So I mean, it's just the way it is.
No. I'm being polite, Welshman. Okay.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Well, as far as you're concerned, as far as he's concerned, it's not necessarily the truth. But
the thing is, we were having,
like I said, Steve, it's your place, man.
I'll speak for everybody. Since McGrandes came on, he's been the epitome of politeness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I mean, when we were critiquing Kamala earlier on, I thought I was quite responsible in saying that, like, if the Democrats had got hold of the big gang members, a bit like Trump did with the ICE team, and targeted the real wrong ones, maybe they could have picked up a bit more liberals and not swung the other direction. But they offered nothing different. So, like I said, I'm not having we're trying to have a conversation. Obviously, when we come on, we have a bit of back and forth, Grande, but at the same stage, mate, we can agree on certain points. It was not good for the country that 5,000 to 10,000 people arrived every day. It's not good for the country. Okay.
The immigration. It's the immigration argument. It's
but
that's
what I was saying about
argument. It makes no sense. Here's what I say. We lost the election.
And then you can respond. Let me qualify it. Let me qualify it, and then you can
move forward. We move forward.
McGrandy, let me qualify it then. Right?
Same argument over and over again.
Okay, let me qualify it, please, and just 20 seconds.
Okay.
Right. So
20 seconds.
It was Trump's policy, right? The people knew it was Trump's policy, and now it's gone into action, and he has cut down the border crossings by like 95%.
Well, that's great.
Done what
that's
it said
that's
on
20
tin.
seconds
they
right there.
Voted for it.
That's
they
great.
Voted for it.
That's great. That's great.
Right?
He shut the border down. That's good. That's good.
Well, like I said, I asked for it. We can agree on that. We can agree on that.
No. He shut the border. Aphid has something to say, I think.
Well, no, I'm asking you. So, like I said,
wait. You said it happened. I agree with you. Aphid. What
the official numbers said no. I'm not speaking to Aphid. I'm speaking to you. Can we either agree or not?
Wait. Are you driving the show? Are you driving the show?
Well, once again, he's avoided answering the question.
I'm asking Aphid a question.
He's avoided answering the question.
I agreed with what you said. I agreed with what you said, and now.
So you agree that's what that was his policy, and everyone voted for it. And now that's the end result. Good, thank you. Aphid, you had something to say according to my granddad.
Oh fuck,
man!
Why are you running the fucking show?
McGrandy,
you must have mind readed. Money's mind readed.
Don't worry, I won't be here long, guys. I'm on my phone here. My computer burned out, so
I don't know if you would call it running the show or interjected the most, but whatever you would call it, I mean, by far, it's been you since you came on.
Thank you.
So it's not fair.
It's like I'm disrupting the fucking anyway.
No, but I mean, it's just
Anyway, it's good to see you,
the people that complain the most about stuff like that are other people saying too much or not being able to talk. I mean, it's almost 100% of the time they're the ones that are doing the most of the talking. It's always like that. So just if in the chat, if you're ever going to get on a live show and then you get frustrated because you don't think you're getting your point across and you want to complain about you think somebody else is talking too much, there's a pretty good chance it's you. That's talking. It's you that's talking too much, not them.
I know.
And
but
and
you know why
and
I
the little
do
bit of air, the little bit of air that's left after you're talking is taken up by somebody else, and you want that too. You want that little bit of air.
Yeah, that's true. That's all true. That's why I asked you, man.
Well, yeah, you mind read him, and you knew what he was going to say.
Why didn't you shut up? I'm talking to him.
Oh, right. Okay. You're on a panel of six people here, just to let you know.
Oh, well, I'm talking to him.
7 even.
I know. I've known Aphid for a while. We haven't talked for a while. We used to talk on Skype. That's sort of scary.
You mind read him.
Based, shut up.
Anyway, I greatly appreciate your input there, Aphid.
Oh, well, you know.
And I don't wholeheartedly reject it either.
All right.
But he will ignore it completely next time.
No, I won't. I won't. It's my part, man. It's who I am.
You're passionate. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Your passion, you know, spills out of every orifice of your body.
And
when I see that silky face come onto the screen, I think, oh, my best pal, my granddad, great stuff. We got fun now.
Silky face. What is that?
Silvery.
I don't understand that. Is that a Welsh thing? It's like.
Well, yeah, I can see your silver beards in the background, and I think, oh, it's my granddad, my best pal. We'll have a good chat now.
I since there's a lull, I'll say I heard. I guess you guys were talking about, you know, the Democrats did this to lose the election. I don't know if I 100% agree with that. I think it was just the aligning of the stars, and you know, we had an incumbent president that was not going to see that he wasn't going to succeed until I think that debate really put it in his face, and the rest of the country was like, this guy's got to go. And it was unwinnable at that time because he was an incumbent. So who else are you going to put in his place? Are you going to try to force him out? And then you got the situation was, it was too late to change at that point, and it was just a unwinnable situation. And there's a lot of directions you can point, but I think if he would have never ran and we had a better but if there was a better chance that they could have worked something out and put something together in time, then I think that they would have had a much better chance.
So you just said, the first thing you said was aligning of the stars. That's, you know, what is that, hyperbole? I don't even know.
Well, just that I don't think it's not really. I mean, if you want to blame one person, I guess you could blame Joe Biden for not getting out of the race early enough, but you can't blame that whole.
It's Democrats' fault. They knew he was bad 4 years.
Yeah, but what are they supposed to do?
They lied to you. They lied to you for 4 years. They rolled the dice with a puppet.
What I don't see how that makes a difference in what I'm saying.
Well, it does.
He was because he was the incumbent president. He was the one that was, he had the right to run again, and nobody in history, usually runs. I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but it's rare that somebody runs up against an incumbent president. So he would have had to have let himself out, and I don't think he thought that it made no difference of what we thought of what shape he was in.
But how can you trust the Democrats after this? But they lied to you all for 4 years. Sharp as a tack.
Wait a minute. Are we going to start judging politicians because they lie?
But basically, he was fucked 4 years ago. He was fucked. So who made these decisions? We don't even know the people who made these decisions.
He made the decision. It was up to him to run or not run.
No, it wasn't. He wasn't making decisions.
I mean, you think that, but I don't. And I'm sure that there was others.
If you pay any attention to the news,
I know, but that's just
pretty obvious.
There's no.
But based, it was his decision whether to run or not.
Yes.
At the beginning, to run was his.
If he's senile, you can't really take what he says seriously. So people around him, like his missus,
what are you supposed to do? He's the president of the United
his
States.
family,
He's the most powerful person in the world, whether he's senile on his deathbed or
Chuck
whatever.
Schumer, Nancy, they should have all sat down, told the family what the fucking phone was.
I'm sure people sat down with him and told him, and I'm sure he told them that he was convinced he was the best person to run. So what are you going to do then?
Yeah, and when they asked her, I can't remember the exact contract text or wording, and she sort of said, I'll back the Democratic nominee for president. She didn't sound very thrilled about it being Joe Biden, but she would never, go against the shield, never. So she had to, but from that answer and, at the beginning when he decided to run, I feel like we already thought he was in serious cognitive decline.
Yeah,
and then it didn't really, it got a little worse, but it was like, why didn't they just do this from the get-go? And this is what I asked earlier, Aphid. I don't think you were here.
No, I didn't hear you guys talk about this at all.
Do you think they purposely had him win the primary only then to basically dump out and let her take over?
I think that they reluctantly chose to take his side, and he beat him once, and they thought maybe he could make a strong showing when he needed to make a strong showing, and beat him again, because Trump was a very beatable candidate.
I know, but 4 years more of Biden is. I guess you're saying.
There's nothing that you're going to say that I'm going to disagree with you.
But you're saying maybe that they just wanted to secure the presidency and then potentially have him dump out after. And
what I'm saying is, they don't have control. He had control over the situation. He did. So if you got one person to blame, it would have to be Biden, because he didn't. I don't know if it was his wife telling him, "Oh yeah, you can do this. You're the only one that can beat him,"
I think it was,
or just he just doesn't know. I'm sure when I get to be his age, I'm gonna think that I look better. Even right now, I go out and I'm like, I see younger people and I'm like, oh yeah, I can relate with them. But then I look in the fucking mirror and I'm like, no, you can't, dude. You're like the old person that when you were their age, you were like, look at this old fuck.
Right.
Reality sits in, but I don't think that. I think, oh yeah, I can do these things. I can be this person, but I'm just not. And I'm sure he went through those same struggles, and he thought that he was the best person. And I mean, do I think that he was, 100% what most presidents are and how they control the country? No. But do I think he's probably way more in control of the country than people give him credit for? Absolutely. I'm sure he was making decisions and saying, he was maybe more heavily influenced by his aides, but he was definitely still he was the one that was making, a lot of people think that like he was just, sitting there getting spoon fed his food and everybody was making all the decisions for him. And that's bullshit. That's not the way it was going. I'm sure it was worse than we would like, and that's why he was never going to win.
50-50 maybe.
Yeah.
You know what would have solved all these problems? A real primary.
After he dropped out, or in the beginning?
No. Right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not retroactive, just from the real primary.
If he was a strong candidate, he should have had no trouble defeating any challengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is what I think they did. They basically didn't want a proper primary. They want to fast track him through, and I do believe that they dubbed him with the old adrenochrome or whatever he's taking. I'm going down the thing that they allowed him to be a mess on that night, because he was a super mess that night.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you keep saying they like they had more power than he did. He's still the president of the United States. He still is the most powerful man.
Yeah.
Whatever he says goes. So if he says I'm going to run, there's not a they that's going to be able to control that.
How did they get rid of him?
Hold on.
How did they get rid of him?
Because he saw
He didn't want to
that there was
go. They
no.
released it. They released
I mean,
it. They released it. They released
that,
it, and
I
then he
think
had to release.
I think after that debate happened, and he saw that I mean, basically the next day, everybody took a shit, and they were like, "What the fuck, man? We're screwed. There's no way this guy." And he saw that, you know.
Okay, so as I remember it, I might be wrong. They forced his hand. The Democrat Party made a
I'm
release,
sure they did.
made a
I'm sure,
press
but
release,
before
right?
that
And then
moment in
which
time,
forced his
when
hand. So
before that
basically,
moment,
he didn't make that decision. They
you
made it
still had.
for him.
I understand what you're saying, but you still had people that were upset that they took him out. Still people that were like thinking that he was the best thing we had. And who knows,
They
he
took
might have
him
been
out.
the best thing we had. Maybe Kamala, maybe he would have got more votes than she did. I don't know.
Kamala didn't have enough time.
But that's why I say it's more of a, I think, you know, there's always going to be, you know, yes, there's things we can nitpick, and
but
just like things
basically,
on the, just like things on the right, where right now, you know, 80% of the right doesn't want us to make Canada the 51st state. But so there's always going to be things you can nitpick and say, oh, well, they didn't like that, so that's why it happened. I think this case in time, the majority of the reason why it didn't work out is because of the whole Biden being too old, and that first debate, and being rushed to have Kamala in there, and that's why they lost.
Now,
they didn't want a real primary.
It took. Just think of all that time. That, oh, is she going to be the one? Is she going to be able to do this? Oh, is he too old? All that time was focused on that, when nobody was focusing on what kind of nutcase Trump was, and what they did the last time. And while he was, so he was like out of mind, and then he gets shot at, and it was like, you know, it was like, it was so much less of how crazy Trump was when he was running. Now that he's in there, yeah, people are like furious about it. But
Yeah,
there was
I mean,
not
do you
that
think-
there was not that focus when the campaign was going on. It was more on other things, like, oh shit, you know, the Democrats are screwed, you know.
Are they all furious though? I mean, I don't believe that's the case. Not everybody.
The Democrats?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think if they
should
held
be
the election,
furious
I don't
for the
know
Democrats.
if they held the election now that Kamala would beat him. You know, I can't say that.
I don't think so. But
I
let
don't know.
me throw another name into the ring here. One that I heard a lot then. I was talking about him, but he was Jewish. Shapiro, or Shapiro, depending on how you say it.
I don't think enough people know. I mean, you know, people on the East Coast know about him, but I don't think the rest of.
He was well spoken, and he had a good delivery.
I don't know much about him.
I never got to see enough about him to form an opinion, other than he was clean. He appeared to have no holes in his clothes, and then all of a sudden he was gone. You know, it was like, what the fuck? This guy looked like he was going to be somebody, maybe, but obviously no deal, because they chose Kamala from the get-go.
Well, because she's black and a woman. Remember, Joe said it.
Well, I'd say it's because she was vice president.
Yes.
She was probably made vice president because she was black and was a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Joe said that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a dumb reason to make someone vice president, just for that alone.
It was. I think the choices were only black women, if I remember correctly.
Well,
but just remember, she has a Glock.
Yeah.
Well, basically, he done a DEI for VP. He literally said, "I want women and a minority woman." So the shortlist was whoever's a woman and a minority.
Yeah, there was like probably 7 or 5 like legitimate candidates.
And 4 wouldn't have been illegitimate. They'd have just been like some crazy bitches.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to have somebody who's somewhat advanced in politics with a background in law, and she has both, obviously. So,
well, you would say AEO, whatever her name is. What's her name? Big Latino booty.
AOC.
AOC.
Yeah. Just have a big booty.
Yeah. No.
It's her initials. It's what the hell's her first name? Andrea?
Alexandria.
Jesus Christ, I only know her as AOC. I don't even know her actual name, just her
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I only know her because I hear the right complaining about her. That's the only thing I know about
there's
her.
another reason you know about her.
Well, I don't think she's that attractive like Topple does.
You don't?
No, I don't.
She's fine as hell.
Whoa! Why did I get thrown in this?
You are picky.
Whoa!
Yeah, I am picky. I like girls that are unique. Like they have just a little bit of a unique look to them.
Well, as Alex Stein would say, she's a big Latina.
No, he likes the green woman. The strong.
Say you're the first woman I've ever met with an Adam's apple.
According to the superficial male, AOC retains a lot of the characteristics desired by certain superficial males.
Superficial.
Big booty, nice boobs.
Nobody's more superficial than I am, and I can agree with that.
It's funny. I was just thinking, Base, you'll relate to this completely. I mean, we've been through a similar thing actually. The more I think about it, you either love Margaret Thatcher or you hate her. She was a real divide, like Trump, but probably, not so severe to a degree. But she came up against a guy called. Do you remember Michael Foot? Base, and he
big lefty.
He sort of like, there was one crucial point in the election when he was up against her where I think he was laying a wreath at the epitaph to remembering those that had fallen in World War I and II or any war. And I remember he didn't have a tie on. I think he had some old scruffy coat on, and the press picked up on it. And it ruined his whole campaign. And once again, probably if he had somebody stronger standing against her, she wouldn't have come into power. Now, depending where your politics lie, it was a gift to her, and she won the election by a landslide. And some people will say, well, she was the worst prime minister. My personal opinion is she was actually a very strong prime minister, and I liked her a lot and voted for her as well. So, but it's just interesting, these particular sort of characters that emerge. They're in the right place at the right time, and who knows? Maybe, fingers crossed, the legacy of it all is one day you'll look back and go, yeah, Trump put us back on our feet, but only time will tell. So,
and just a little history check as well, because you mentioned Margaret Thatcher. It was when where I am now, where I'm living now, was bombed.
Yeah,
it killed. Yeah. I don't know how many people it killed, but it took out like about 10, 12 houses, and it's literally where I reside now on top of. Cardiff was hit bad.
The Cardiff Blitz.
Yeah,
that's what it was called.
Well, the one thing that's, and I'm not insulting any of you, I promise, but it's just because of the country you live in and the vast amount of space and land that you've got. Mm-hmm. The one thing that's sometimes, and Last Dance, I know you've been to UK a few times, so you'll probably appreciate it a bit more. But what's hard to probably understand sometimes is when Germany had taken France, you got famous pictures of Hitler on a balcony saluting the Nazi street with the Eiffel Tower in the background. They took France. You got to remember that. And in northern France, to fly to London, to fly to play, that's when you realize how small this country is.
Well, it's 23 miles. The channel's 23 miles. I think at the shortest point. You can see Calais on a good day.
Exactly, and it wasn't just, everybody always remembers the London Blitz, but it was places like Birmingham got bombed to hell, Coventry, Cardiff, Liverpool. Yeah. It's not a big distance to fly that far when you occupied the northern France. So most of Britain absolutely got smashed, and I've said it to you guys before. There is no doubt, which is why I suggest we're so close allies, is that. And you've got to be careful what you say, because some people get insulted. But it's the truth of the matter is that had the USA not come in to help us, more than likely we would have lost the war. We'd probably all be speaking German by now.
Damn right.
It's so true. It's so true. If it wasn't for the fact that you guys put troops on the ground and gave lives, then I don't think we would have won it. And I hate to say it, because sometimes I know those people in the UK, and especially those guys that gave their lives and stuff, but you know, they made the biggest sacrifice of all for us to be free. But the fact is, if it hadn't been for the US, we would have lost.
What would have happened though? We would have stayed in the UK, and we would have gone like basically hell for bells to protect the UK, and that would have been a different type of war then, wouldn't it? It would have.
Yeah, but it's different when you're fighting it based and it's on your own land. You know what I mean? At least
I know.
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of the other four of us here, you guys, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my uncle bombed a bunch of Germans and then got put in a stalag for 7 months.
No shit. Wow.
This is his B-17 got shot down. He was a nose gunner.
God, he was lucky, wasn't he? He was lucky
Yeah.
to survive.
The plane got hit real bad with flak, went into a nosedive. They thought they were dead. The pilot pulled them up, got them level, put on the autopilot. They all went to the bomb bay doors. My uncle, my uncle sat with his legs over, and his parachute cord had been pulled. And at that point, the emergency, captain pilot of the plane said, "Emergency, we all got to go now. We're going down." They pushed him out, and he grabbed at his shit, and his chute opened, even though the cord had been pulled. Yeah. Wow. Then he landed, and all he had on was his flight slippers and some fairly warm clothes, but they didn't have boots on for some god awful reason. He went into a barn, and basically, if he had gotten caught by the villagers, they would have pitchforked him to death. But he got caught by the Nazis, and they brought him to a stalag.
Wow.
On the way, one of the soldiers took his Zippo, and the fucking Nazi captain, or whatever they're called, slapped the soldier and gave the lighter back to my uncle and said, "We're not thieves," basically, He had all these crazy stories. When they put him in his cell for a couple days, didn't give him any food, just a little bit of water. Then they brought him into a room to talk to the head Nazi. The head Nazi gave him a drink, which was booze on the rocks and some really strong German cigarettes. God only knows what was in the drink too. And then they started hitting him with questions on an empty stomach with alcohol and God only knows what. And all he remembers was repeating, his name and rank and serial number. But that was their technique with the American airmen. They wouldn't torture the shit out of them as far as he knew, but they would deprive you of food, and then they'd, make you feel super.
You wouldn't refuse the alcohol, though, would you? You'd be like, "Oh, get a piss, yeah, go on, carry on."
Yeah, and a cigarette too, and probably a whole pack he puts on the table next to the drink, and then
take the pack, put the packet in your pocket.
In the news this week in the UK, the very last World War II fighter pilot died. 105 he was, very last one,
I heard it 2 days ago. I was quite sad about it. Like, I'll give it like 2 seconds.
That's
the end of an era, isn't it?
Virtually gone, isn't it? It's,
Well, that's it, the last one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was the last pilot?
Yeah, 105 years. Well, he was, should I say. Bless him.
Well, I mean, so theoretically, if somebody served at the tail end of the war, and at best they were, say, 18, they would have been 18 in 1935, so that would put him at 1945.
Well,
35, and then so that would bring him down
80 years.
27. So 27 to 25 would be 98. 8. So I mean, like, even the youngest ones are 98.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah, huh? So we're gonna lose them all in the next probably 7 years.
And the Battle of Britain as well. I mean, we were right on the edge. over that period, because the Smarties they threw everything at the Battle of Britain, and yeah, I mean, I've heard I've seen enough documentary sort of style things where they were on their ass in a lot of the places, with even planes, fuel. There was like I think about like a 3-day period. They done it a couple of times during like a year, where they just hammered the fuck out of everything, and it was very serious times in the UK, as I'm told, or led to believe.
My nephew.
Yeah, I might have told you before. There was a guy that used to live opposite our house. He lived to 94, and he was on his own. So he was a really nice guy, though, really sociable. I used to go and have a drink with him about once every 2 weeks. He loved his whiskey, so we used to watch football together, and I'd have a whiskey with him and stuff. Probably too many, to be honest. But he told and like all that generation, they say they don't really want to talk about it, and I get it. But sometimes I used to probe him a bit, because he trained in Jacksonville, in Florida, and he was a radio operator. He told me some stories about that. He had a good time in America, that's for sure. But yeah, 2 stories which were really cool when I probed him. It was one when he was flying from UK over to, I think it was Holland, and they had to take a guy just a single guy. He was a soldier, obviously, backpack and this, that, and the other. And anyway, he had a chance to have a bit of a conversation with him and a cigarette. And he said, what's the mission? Because we're not told. We just got to drop you off, literally by parachute. And he goes, he said, I shouldn't tell you really, but I'm going to. He said, I've got about 4 bars of gold in my backpack, which we're delivering to Holland. It's a payment for. And he said, I'm not going to tell you what that's for. So anyway, they dropped him off, and that was cool. And but he said there was on the way back, which was the crux of the story, they encountered a German fighter. And I remember, these are all young lads as well. It's not like they're in their 30s or anything. They're in their young 20s. Do you know what I mean? And they're flying back. They go, oh shit, there's a fucking German fighter. What's going to happen now? Anyway, this guy comes in the other direction, and with that, because obviously they're at the same height, he actually salutes them and waves at them, and they wave back, because obviously he's finished his mission. He doesn't want to get involved with anything, which was really cool. But the most amazing story he ever told me, which was the only second story, by the way, because they didn't probe too much, on another day, another time, was he was in the plane that he was in was to take the gliders on D-Day over, so they would land behind enemy lines. So they were towing a glider, and he said, we dropped the glider, we let it go, off it went. God bless them, hope they're all right. Turned around, and this now morning was just beginning to break. And he said, and we're going across the English Channel. He said, Lee, I've never seen anything like it. No matter what direction you looked in, there was ships and boats, because obviously they were about to land to push the Germans back. He said it was the most incredible sight I'd ever seen. It was just everywhere you could see, there was just boats, with Americans, obviously, in English. And
so, well, the UK government commandeered any vessel that was seaworthy, basically.
Yeah.
So you were getting literally private yachts going across. You were getting tugboats going across. You're getting all sorts of shit going across.
And when you speak to sometimes older people, they give you sort of a bit of advice, and they, they've been there, they've done it before. I remember another time I was talking to, I was pretty stressed in my job at the time. I was going, life's a bit stressful at the moment, blah, blah. And he just put it into context in like just a few sentences, because he just laughed at me and sort of patted me on the back and went, life's life, you'll get through it, don't worry. He said, I'll tell you what stress is, because he'd experienced this. He said, when your left port engine's out on fire, because they got attacked at one point, and he said, and I can see the cliffs of Dover. We're that close to home, and the plane is like one engine, a couple of engines are out, And we're just limping back home, just praying that we can get back to the airfield, of which they obviously did. And I just put it into context for me. You go, yeah, what I'm actually worried about is not life threatening. Do you know what I mean? It just put me in a better mood when he told me that story.
Yes. 75 years later, there's fucking adventurers in dinghies throwing their ID overboard, watching the White Cliffs. And there's many videos of that in it, where you see the White Cliffs and their mobile phones out filming, and they're throwing their ID overboard.
Yeah, I've seen many a video like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a text.
Sorry, go on.
Real quick, I got a text from my nephew, who's, you guys know, he's a Marine now, and he's, doing some hardcore training, and he threw at me, they just woke us up for a 13-mile hike with 70 pounds on our backs. This is hell. This is the worst. My feet are frozen. So I all I could do was send him back a quote from the great and late Winston Churchill. I said, Marine, if you're going through hell, just keep going. And that's what he said to the British people when they were being bombed. Just keep going, because brighter days are ahead, And I always found that quote to be inspirational. Not fight, not this, not that. Just keep going, Keep going. You're in hell. Just keep going, It ain't gonna get any better.
It's an interesting point. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's an interesting point, that, Steve. Just to come on to something else, there was a survey done, obviously, with the Ukrainian war, about conscription. A lot of Europe are talking about it, and young people, and the amount of percentage of young people that say no, they wouldn't want to volunteer, they don't want conscription, this, that, and the other. And it's funny how warfare has changed, isn't it? Because when you watch videos of Ukrainian or Russian soldiers being killed, the one thing that I find is, and I can understand it from their point of view as well, being a younger generation, because I wouldn't be fit enough, and I'm too old anyway to be called up. But the fact is, warfare has changed so much in that, it used to be maybe in the trenches you'd walk, or you're trying to take land. The fact that there's drones now and that you can't really do anything about those is a frightening prospect.
Yeah, but it's very much similar to World War One. It's full of the trenches. I mean, 80% of the deaths I think on both sides would have come in the trenches.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying. It's changed. The drones have changed everything, but there's a lot of similarities from World War One.
Yeah, but I want a fair chance, though, based. I would want to be able to fight and at least have a fair chance.
Exactly. I think it's even scarier, because in World War One, it was artillery and mortars. They would just lob them back and forth, and you would hear them coming in, but you thought, either it's going to hit me and it's my time, or it doesn't. With the drones, you see them and you're
dystopian.
You can't get away. It's like
that's
your enemy is there, and you it's coming for you, but there's nothing you could do about it.
And just think, like an explosive this size, which is 2 inches around, maybe an inch tall, is enough to blow your body into smithereens. They can put that with a pressure switch on the front of these things that literally have these goofy antennas like sticking off the front, and whenever they hit
aerials.
whatever,
Old school aerials,
so pathetic looking. But all that matters is this little thing on the front. The advances in high test explosives that are in small packages, especially that can be targeted. You take that simple explosive, put it on the nose of this dumb little drone, which now they can get for $300 a piece from China, long range.
DJIs. I mean, they're using a lot of DJIs, but like you said, it's so dystopian, and it's so.
Yeah, think about the '80s. What did we have? We had Rambo with the fucking bow and arrow with that thing he screwed on the end. Remember, it was the.
I love those movies.
Yeah, it was the arrow tip was this little conical explosion. Now, wow, genius! They took the same thing and put it on the front of a drone, and it's not in a movie. It's actually real, and it has like 100 miles range. It's fucking unbelievable.
The thing is, the battery packs are like the standard battery packs you can buy on like Alibaba or eBay. It's the ones with the blue tape around them, wrapping around them. They're so generic. You just see zip ties, and not always, but they do use DJIs. But there is a lot of what seems to be very successful the last 2 months is the old fly-by-wire again. So they're using fly-by-wire with drones.
Yeah,
because there's been a lot of because they can't be interfered with. And what a lot of them are doing, what I've seen a lot of them, is they're not flying now. What they're doing, they're going into a strategic position. They're landing at a junction and then waiting on standby. So that they're doing them now. So a lot of them are just like basically they're just ghosting in a hostile area sort of thing until they see their moment.
What concerns me about Europe, and maybe not so much for you guys at the moment, at least, is that our Prime Minister keeps piping on about putting boots on the ground, and he's saying it's a peace force. That's bollocks. Anything can happen if they're in there, and Putin's going, you ain't doing that anyway. But he keeps pushing that agenda, and so are some of the other European countries. What really concerns me or pisses me off, if I'm honest about this, is, and I wonder what your thoughts are. What I'm about to tell you, you can look up, okay? It's been reported by the BBC News, Sky News, Euro News, Kiev Independent News, okay? If you're willing to put, and many more news channels, if you're willing to put feet on the ground, why at least doesn't Europe turn around and within the EU and create a new law that says the 650,000 to 700,000 men that have left Ukraine that are of conscript age should be deported and sent back to Ukraine to fight before we start putting any feet on the ground. Because I think that is criminal that these men have left the country. Oh, the West is reported, but they don't go on about it too much. And it's like, if you love your country so much, then why aren't you back there fighting?
Ukraine has ordered their citizens to come back, but the EU, obviously, this is so like sort of flip flopping. So Ukraine have requested their fighting age men to come back.
700,000 of them based, yeah.
And guess what? The European countries in the EU said we're not going to enforce it. So it is enforceable. And the EU have refused to enforce it. So that just tells you everything.
Why? I don't get my head around it. Why are they doing that?
Yeah, they're gonna put British troops in. So this went on about 9 months ago. It's not a request. They've ordered citizen, fighting age. I can't remember the exact thing, but basically it's like a warrant.
I mean, and I might be being naive here, but you've got President Trump who's talking about peace, even if he's going to benefit from it. And bloody hell, I don't blame him that he wants his money back. I told you before a couple of weeks ago, we didn't stop paying our debt to the US for World War II until 2006. We've been paying all that time. So why should the Ukrainians have it for free? Once again, it's mind blowing. I just don't understand it. I really don't. Why does Zelensky think he can go around with his begging bowls, visiting every country, getting money off of everybody? They haven't got the soldiers anyway for all the equipment they've got.
And the thing is, they'd have to just give up their rare earth shit, right? Where we had to fucking give them cash. The US, we had to pay them. We didn't have rare earth shit to give them.
But my ultimate point is this: is that it almost seems like Trump wants peace, but Europe's gearing up for war. I mean, Germany's now talking about conscription. I mean, what is wrong with us? For God's sakes, who wants war? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, just for the London people, for the American people as well. There's been a few, mainly citizen journalists, going out on the streets and asking leading questions like, "If there was a draft, would you fight for the UK?" And what you're finding is near enough. Well, everyone that has an ethnicity that is not white, European, not interested. A lot of them say they'll go back home, but of course they fled home. So how could you go back home to the place you fled but that's another question. And then the majority of the traditionally ethnically white European people, traditionally British, English, Welsh, and Irish, Scottish, they weren't interested either. The vast majority, not everyone, but the vast majority. And the reason why that is because we've been trodden on and trodden on. I wouldn't blame a 20-year-old for making that as a his opinion, and it's throughout the UK.
I'll tell you what, Base, what would make me laugh is you see cars driving around sometimes flying Ukrainian little flags out their window, and even churches have put Ukrainian flags up. I want to see the British, the UK's attitude when if Keir Starmer got his own way, when we're going to have to start sending our boys and girls to the country. I bet there'll be fucking mass protests, just like when there was the Iraqi war.
Exactly. Here's a new subject from RW. President Trump revokes the legal status of 530,000 Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. I think these people all came in on a basically some sort of a modified
student.
What was it called?
Work?
Not work.
Visa?
Not
Asylum?
visa. Yeah. Modified hurried asylum claim. Especially the Haitians.
Well, it's what you voted for. You voted for this, and he's put it into place.
I think this is a good thing. I'm going to say right now.
I do.
Well, I don't know that he has that power to do that. I'm not sure. It's not. We're not a country where the president has all the power. That's not how it is.
Yeah, but what would be the penalties for you to outstay your visa, student visa, holiday visa, whatever? What would be
now it's deportation. Before now it was nothing.
You could be deported.
Well, I was just going to say, in the UK or in Australia, for example, I mean, I see the border thing the airport border thing, and basically, when people, for example, get found out lying in Australia to get into Australia for 6 months or whatever on some sort of work visa, which and they try it on. If they get caught out, they get booted and they get banned from returning for 5 years. And some of these people, in relationships, they got like a separate life because they've sort of worked between, say, Thailand and Australia, between their family and stuff, and now they've got a life in Australia. They left to go home to do some family shit, and then on the way back they got found out by customs, in a trap of answering questions, and the next thing you know, they're banned from re-entering for 5 years. They got a family over here. They don't fuck about.
What happens then if you're from Venezuela? You get caught for being like you've outstayed your welcome, and you've got no money because you've crossed the border. You're trying to get jobs. Do you get deported and the American government pay for your flight home?
Yeah.
So I can come on holiday then and just outstay my welcome and get a free flight home with my family. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but that'll be the last time you come here legally.
Right.
Well, at least 10 years, and that you would have to argue for.
Right, I see. Yeah, okay. So there is a downside. I can't come on holiday to America then and stay for a few months.
I mean,
you get one free flight home ever.
Yeah, I would like to know. I would like to know what he's doing wrong then. Because I would suggest, that doesn't seem to be a harsh sort of thing. Because you've got other westernized countries that do the same thing. You fuck around, you find out, and you're banned for 5 years. Well, basically, what I heard, the app they used an importation app that Joe Biden did. They've changed it, and they've called it like not the deportation app, but it's called something similar. And basically, you just deport yourself, and we'll help
self-deportation.
Yeah, so they turned the app into a self-deportation. And they've explained to you how you do it and how you go about it and how you get funded out. So And they said, if, for example, you leave the country, you can then reapply. But if they catch you and you haven't done it, then you're not allowed to reapply. So
yeah, you know what? You're highlighting a problem with this whole thing, Welshman.
Go on.
The farms, the legally employed farm hands, pickers, the guys who were picking the fruit, a lot of those guys are now just self-deporting.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. But like you said, you know, when I said they can then reapply, if they reapply and they say, "Yep, I've got a job," I would like you would hope that you know those would be obviously put back through. But I mean, you know,
Yeah, that to
whether
me
that's
sounds
reality.
that sounds like a failure of the clerical side of this. If they're going to have people who are they want to keep deported and then legal to come back, that seems silly.
I don't know.
There should be a better way than.
Yeah. I don't know if that is the actual way that app now totally works. I mean, there could be a section where they say, well, you know, do you work, etc. And if you say, I don't know what's in the app.
No, there isn't. This is the problem because a lot of these guys are self-employed, and they're going to try to come back as, you know, I guess legally allowed, but not legal, which is again extremely ambiguous. I mean, how do you define this? If you're going to kick them all out, but no, you pick a lot of vegetables, so you're good. Come on back. You can come back. You guys who don't do shit, you're fucking gone. I mean,
well, the thing is,
how do you put the law to that?
You've got to throw a big stick at the problem, and you've got a big problem over there. So, you know, if they belong in the UK, in America, then they you know, they'll apply, they'll deport themselves, and then try and bring themselves back in correctly, which they said you know you're allowed to do. So, I think you know you've got to throw a big stick at it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean the whole system. I guess is the problem with trying to control or contain a system that was already completely bastardized from the multiple administrations before you, including Trump and the Bushes, because it was never right. So it was not that you can blame it on Democrats. The system has been flawed for a long time. But that being said, the spending has gotten out of control. Now, what Doge is doing, I do think is problematic, but there's also good aspects of it. So can we outline the parts that are bad? Maybe they're not doing it in a controlled manner. Last Dance, you seem to be a big fan of cutting.
Yeah, I absolutely am. But I don't really see why it has to be chaos. Maybe it does, but I don't see why.
It is chaotic. You'll admit that.
Yes, it's ridiculous. I don't see why Elon has to go online every day and posture and troll and, you know, bullshit his, you know, his way, trying to, you know, delight the right wing with his pronounce. I don't know why he has to do that, considering the seriousness of the task he claims he's undertaking. So, you know, I think all these things not only detract from cutting the budget, but they imperil the effort. And so I don't see why it has to be that way.
Is it that way because there's a certain percentage of that group that likes that bombastic, you know, style, that unhinged release? Are these the MAGA people that want this?
Oh, I'm sure the MAGA people want this for sure.
But But I mean, of all the people I know, you're very conservative, even though you wouldn't admit it.
Okay, but
you're not like this.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter what the MAGA people want. Now he's president, so he has a different constituency now.
He's not king,
but he doesn't seem to realize that. So yeah, I think that's. I think I'm disappointed. I think a lot of these cuts are necessary. And most of the ones you've seen are necessary, but they just
particularly to the IRS.
I don't know about the IRS, but the Department of Education, Social Security, everywhere it needs to be cut. We just don't have. We're going broke. We're beyond going broke.
It makes it for somebody like you, Last Chance, that agrees with some of these cuts, that you're instantly lumped into this shit on the guys that are getting cut attitude, which you're not,
Right, and automatically people think you want to cut AIDS medication to children.
Oh, I love doing that.
Right, of course. And also that same funding would be their nutrition. So you want to stop feeding and giving medication to adolescent AIDS patients.
No, stop all that and put them into coal mines. Let them work for their.
I mean, mistakes are going to be made, but as long as they're corrected quickly, because when you go in there and you're slashing away at lots and lots of shit, and there's so much. I heard some shit today about Nepal. They were giving money to Nepal and somewhere else in Asia for trans again. I was like, wow.
Yeah, but we're going through a similar thing at the moment in that, whether we like it or not, every government probably in the world is running a deficit, and they're looking at ways of being able to cut that, save money. And in the UK, only this week, our chancellor's going on about, there's this. The benefits that are paid to people that can't work. There are some genuine people that I totally agree with that, but they want to root it out, and they're going to put new policies in place that you're going to have to prove that maybe can't do certain things as to whether you get your benefits or not. If you can't get them, you're going to have to start looking for a job. Now, the savings is around about $5 billion a year. But, it's caused a lot of uproar in the country because, we know there's some people that deserve it, but the majority of us, I think, this needs to be weeded out, because there are some families that have generations of where they don't, they follow the process of their parents. They live in council accommodation, and they don't work, and they just do what they want. And it's like, and they get benefits for it. And that's what keeps them alive. But, there's lots of people out there that can work. And going back to when you were saying, Steve, about people coming in and picking picking vegetables or fruit or whatever, that's been their big excuse here. We bring people over because if we didn't have people to do that, then you wouldn't have food on your table. But the other counter argument is take all those, let's say, UK, whether it's youth or a bit older, that aren't working, that are claiming benefits, that could be out picking vegetables and fruit and this, that, and the other. We don't need to import it. There's a God knows how many million of people or so that are out of work that just don't want to work. Their life is too easy, and they that environment. Need to break that way of living, and to set your mind in a different way. Go and earn, work's good for you, whether we like it. We complain about work all the time, but it keeps us sane. You wouldn't want to be at home all day watching TV. It would drive you mad.
And I notice that at work, when I'm working and I have something like I'm trying to accomplish by the end of the day, I'll be like motivated to stay till the very last second to be like, I want to get this fucking done. And the days that like it's a little slow, then you're like, oh, well, I want to get out of here. It's fucking nothing going on. But like, that's how I know, like, I like it, because the days that I'm slammed, I'm like, let's get it all done. Let's, put in extra whatever. I'm not even going to charge a company for it. I just want to get the fucking job done. You know what I mean? Check it off the list. So I agree with you completely. I think people maybe fear work as though it's going to be some huge downer, but it's not a downer. It's energetic. I don't know. It keeps me going.
Downer for me. I'm loving not working.
Well, that's a reward, brother. You got that.
That's a reward for a lifetime of work, Last Dance.
I think what a lot of people are forgetting, mind you, is they keep saying about the fruit picking and all that, and they say it a lot in the UK. Well, AI is going to step all over that in the next fucking 2-3 years, all over that. So that'll be spent goods in the sense of now they're in the country anyway, because in the UK we would have given them citizenship in 2 weeks or whatever. But the reality is, like I said, it's a bit like the Uber people. I mean, who says in the next 3 years it's not going to turn into robots driving down the road? How successful is that in America now with the old robots? Americans.
Well, it is the future. I don't know when it's going to be out there.
I don't see any robots, but if I do, I'll be sure to report
you know the ones that delivering food? Have you seen the ones delivering food?
No, I've never seen one.
I've seen YouTube clips of it. Like
that wouldn't work in America. Someone would steal that shit.
Well, yeah, that's what I've seen. I've seen there's loads of fucking smackheads fucking trying to rip them open and steal the goods inside them. I mean, you've seen the clips.
Yeah, they're well secure though. But they still get they don't make their delivery because they get kicked in and smashed.
Is there any laws about that? Is it technically stealing?
Well, of course.
I don't think they can get into them. I really don't. But they can push them.
You're not robbing anybody. It's a robot
upside down and stuff like that.
You're taking somebody else's property, so that
how you know it's someone else's property? Finders keepers.
It's not
finders keepers is not a law.
That's not
the alarm. The alarm goes off. The alarm goes off. It says stop stealing and stuff. It's like an audio alarm.
Base, you'll know the brand here called the Co-op.
Yeah.
And in Manchester,
you should be Elon Musk. You are
they're trying to store at the moment. It was in the Manchester Evening News where robots are going off to you place your order and it's a robot that comes to deliver it. It's not a lot because the robot size is on 4 wheels in a box basically, but it's like for little purchases. If you want some bread, milk, butter, a few other things or whatever, and off it trundles and goes to the address. If it's within a mile range, it will go and deliver it. Incredible.
Not bad. Hey, why is it always, the simple things with you UK guys?
What?
Bread, milk, butter. I mean, do you eat anything else?
Oh, I was just trying to think of some. No, I was just trying to think of some.
See the food that they eat.
Okay. Steak, asparagus,
beans on toast.
Steak and asparagus. Jesus Christ, this is bland.
I'm just making things up now.
Says Americans that basically their diet is to avoid veg full time.
Steve, you can if you want. I mean, I know your food order would probably be more like a couple of bottles of whiskey, rum, and some lager.
We'll do that as well. I'll tell you what I made for the family tonight.
Go up.
Oven roasted potatoes.
Yeah.
And there were 2 types of wings. One was like what you would call like jerk wings, like Jamaican spices, and the other were garlic and onions type wings, like more like Italian. Very nice.
But you had seasons. You put seasons on it, spices, and I know the UK doesn't know anything about spices, but we add seasoning to our stuff.
Exactly. It was good. I thought it was going to be like a light dinner. After I had a half dozen wings and some taters, I was good. It was very nice. And, that's what we eat around here, man.
America.
Exactly.
Last Dance doesn't eat that stuff, but...
No, I don't. Potatoes sounds good.
But we dripped wing grease on the potatoes at the last minutes to really get them crisping up. Yeah, it helps. He is a vegetarian. All right, here we go. What do you think? Are we going to continue this thing, fellas?
Sure. I'm going well.
Yeah,
All right, well, come up with some subject matter, man.
Where did McGrande go anyway? He disappeared.
He said he was leaving.
You were controlling it too much.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
This is a control issue.
He's gone. So
Got to lay off McGrande. He's a good guy.
Maybe it was because he wouldn't allow anyone to speak.
If he, he calls me a Nazi. I mean, I got to laugh, really.
Good night, Lee.
Oh,
you got a good attitude about that, bud.
Good night, Lee.
Yeah.
See you, Lee. Leon.
You don't care about what he has to say, though, Last Dance.
You're right. I don't. People come on here, they drink. That's totally cool. You can get drunk. That's totally
You
cool.
drink.
I drink, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it might affect, your ability to discuss things. I know
drink.
I know
but
it makes me emotional sometimes. And I get
you're emotional?
Well, I get angry and lose control.
Oh.
But you don't, though. Not like other people.
McGrand, he just gets totally bent out of shape, which is a shame because he's actually he's a very intelligent guy, and he would be much more effective if he was not quite so enraged all the time.
The thing is, he's not very good at debating.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
When he gets the name call, and that's where he loses it.
Well, you can win him down that road. It can take seconds to get him down that road.
Yeah.
Well, you can.
Well, no, I tried to get him to say goose steps, but in the end, he said Manazi.
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, I don't really get that throwing that word around. Who liked Conor McGregor's speech in the White House? I don't like Conor McGregor. So
who was Conor McGregor?
He's a UFC fighter.
Oh, okay.
Later. He was a UFC fighter. He's an MMA guy. He's Irish.
Is he still
one
fighting?
of the most famous of all time?
He's got 2 more fights on his contract, but
Does he?
can't really. Yeah.
Why would he be giving a speech at the White House? That's strange.
He was running for
immigration in Ireland.
Yeah,
well, he was convicted of
grape.
Grape.
How can I put this?
Grape.
Yeah.
Grape.
Civilly.
Yes.
Oh, like Trump.
Yeah. So
like our president.
Yeah,
maybe there was a brotherhood of men amongst
the difference was his offense was about 30 months old, alleged, and Trump's alleged offense was about 35 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, it's big difference.
35 years ago, that was
30
the way
months,
things
35
were.
years, man.
Used to be able to grab him and keep walking.
Who didn't do that?
Hey, Fitz, give me 30 seconds. Do you actually believe that woman? Because she gave an interview on that Clive Anderson thing, right? And she said some really weird shit. She said, and it's on tape, he had to go to adverts, and it was so awkward. She fantasized about raping, about being raped and stuff.
Yeah,
this is what
it's
she
funny.
said.
Welshman, you said Clive Anderson. It's Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, sorry.
Clive Anderson.
But
kind of a funny name.
Yeah, did you see the video? You do see the
Oh, hell yes.
It wasn't just that. She said she had fantasies and stuff. And it was like so backward. And then she said on another one with the Rachel Madcow and all that lot, I'll buy you some shoes and stuff for my 82 billion or million. I'll buy you some shoes.
I believe what she said was something along the lines of rape is sexy. And then Anderson Cooper said,
it's Marty.
We're gonna break for commercial now, awkwardly, as he looked at her like she had fucking 4 heads and was like, "What the hell are you saying, lady?"
Martin.
And Martin
carried on before he broke.
Old backdoor Martin is what I like
to
call him.
Backdoor loads.
Green shirt Marty. How you doing, brother?
I don't believe a word. Sorry, I don't believe a word of what was said. What was she alleged? I think that's no.
This is what I'll say. None of us really knows what happened, but if she was talking about a random person, I would be less inclined to believe it. But if she's talking about Trump, I'm more inclined to believe her.
Why is that? Can you expound?
I mean, by his own words, and actions, it's clear that he does not, hold himself, accountable for
she's
his.
Pig ugly. She's really ugly.
First of all, she's ugly now, but 30 years ago,
she was ugly.
I'm big ugly too, but I got.
Last chance. There's a bit of a disconnect here with what you're saying.
I agree.
Okay. Now, so Chris Steele, he was on. Oh my God, I'm going to say it again. Piers Morgan the other day, right? And the Chris Steele is MI5, MI6.
Yeah.
Officer with the Steele dossier.
The Steele dossier, right?
Yeah, he got crucified on there. Why did I mention that then? What was that about? Oh, fuck. What were you just talking about?
The Jean, what's her name? Carol?
Yeah.
Sued Trump.
Pig ugly.
And you said she was talking on Anderson Cooper and on Rachel Maddow's show.
Yeah. I was trying to work out why isn't it? Oh, what? I can't remember, but he got crucified on that.
The Steele dossier contained a lot of salacious stuff that was.
Particularly
the P tape. That was.
Yeah. That's it. So in
never
Trump's
been
defense,
proven that it didn't happen.
But
you can't prove it didn't happen.
Yeah, you can't prove something didn't happen.
If it said he actually went to Mars, you couldn't prove that didn't happen either.
Yes, for Trump's defense, he said when Ivana found out, or what's her name, Melina, or whatever her name is, when she found out the accusations, and she found out it was piss, she goes, that's not Donald. He's a germaphobe. And he made a joke about it, and I believe him. There's no evidence.
How would she know?
Well, no, she says that her husband's a germaphobe, which is quite.
How would she know anything about that man?
Well, he had to explain what a golden shower was to her. That's what he said in his when he was telling you. He said it on a speech. He said I had to tell her what a golden shower was. When she found out, she was like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, I mean, it's just too contrived. Who likes urine? It's fucking disgusting. I mean, come on.
We know where the story came from, and it was basically bullshit. We know what the source for Steele's story was, and it really.
Well, the Democrats got fined $250,000 for it. They got fined for it in the end. I know it was not a lot of money, but they got fucking fined for it.
Well, they didn't get. I don't know who got fined for what, but
the party got fined, but it really should have been heavy. They got done for it. Let me try and check.
They got fined.
Yep.
Uppity says Chris Steele was a corrupt bastard. Last Dance definitely agrees. Last Dance is. Yeah, of course he has to not agree. Change 2 letters.
That's a sign of a bootlicker, if you ask me.
Hey, he's a major bootlicker. What is wife saying? Okay, I'm back. Base defending Donnie's sexual assaults again.
Yeah, it's just locker room talk there. Smokesteve wife.
As who was it that did that from that movie when he was like
Bernie Sanders, Man of the People.
Oof.
So it's this FEC finds Hillary Clinton campaign and DNC over Trump dossier research. So whoever the FEC is.
FEC?
Federal Election
Commission.
Must be.
The
only letters that make sense.
Yeah.
A lot of stories from that.
Federal Erection?
Federal Election Commission.
Election.
They're pretty dysfunctional.
That could be. They're
hard.
They're hard to please.
They are.
So,
They don't go soft on crime.
the infamous Trump Russia dossier.
Grab him by the.
Yeah, it was. The whole thing was paid for.
George Foreman died.
No,
no.
That's what's
that
being
true,
said.
Cowboy?
I'm looking it up, and a lot of people. Bleacher Report stating he passed away at 76 today.
Oh
Wow.
And I do
That's a
believe
shame.
Bleacher Report right now. So,
Well, I mean, one thing is that fat reducing grill probably gave him an extra couple years.
Man, it seems like just yesterday he won that fight.
Have you ever used the George Foreman grill? Have you ever seen how much fat pours off that thing? It's crazy.
Unlike other grills.
Yeah.
That's all I hope. He had the same sort of deal as Tony Hawk's did with his computer game, because he chose the option of like taking like 2% of the sales, which seemed like a long shot at the time, and he's made I don't know how much on that deal. It's
Well, Welshman,
maybe
what it is was he got 2% after the first 30 million.
TMZ.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
so he
it.
got 30 million and then 2% of all sales. And the 30 million was like a 50-50 split. And it ended up being a fucking insane amount.
Yeah, I think he's because obviously I don't know exactly, but I think maybe like $500 million off it or something crazy.
Yeah. It's incredible.
I think he's gone.
He's dead.
I think he's gone.
George Foreman, one of the great ones.
He was a champion.
Do you guys remember that fight? The fight, like, it's got to be 30 years ago, probably now. That was, he was like super old, and he knocked that dude out. He became the champion. He became the champion, the heavyweight champion.
At 44, was he 44?
I saw that fight. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
44. I don't know why I remember. Has he a heavyweight champion at 44?
Big dude.
Yeah, but I mean, 44. That sounds so young.
Oh.
It's like almost 10 years ago for me. Jesus. I remember he seemed so old when he won that fight.
Yeah, he was the best.
Muhammad Ali was the best.
Mike Tyson was the best.
Watching Tyson Fury, sort of, like all boxers do, they get to a point, and
that thing was pathetic. That was just.
Which one?
That Tyson Fury fight, or not Fury? The Tyson. What's that?
Paul.
Oh yeah, whatever that dude's name is.
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
He's all right.
Oh, that was not. I wasn't Tyson Fury. That was his.
No, I know. I misspoke.
Yeah. But yeah, your Slugger. What's that black guy? That heavyweight Tyson Fury and him. That trilogy. That was fucking amazing.
I don't watch fighting. Wrestling's fake. I was told.
I went to a main, like a big fight once, and it was quite the spectacle.
You guys remember the
Smokesteve.
You guys remember the Howard Cosell call of the Thriller in Manila? No, that wasn't the Thriller in Manila. It was the Frazier.
Yeah, down goes Frazier.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Yeah, I've
Frazier
seen
was undefeated at that point, and people thought he was just going to cruise, and Foreman beat him senseless and won.
The Thriller in Manila. I've seen like a documentary that was done sort of at the time on it. It was fucking crazy. Really poorly organized. The conditions were crazy on it. The environment conditions.
Oh yeah.
It was all sort of thrown together. Like it wasn't. I think Manila was a bit of a fucking like army country at the time, wasn't it?
Well, he couldn't fight in the United States or something because what did he say? Wasn't American or something? I don't know. I feel like that was part of the reason.
I don't know.
Wasn't it? It was some kind of political thing.
Who?
Well, this was late, so this was in 75. The Thriller in Manila.
Did he throw a lot of money at the royalty there? I think
I
he
don't
threw
know.
a lot of money at it. I think that's how it was over there.
Hey, real quick, Mick, thank you for being here. Mick seems to have a definite hone in on who might be people who are trying to troll us.
Mick?
Yeah, Mick knows. Mick was pointing out a person earlier who he thought was a troll.
Oh yeah, who was?
He was pointing me out.
Yeah, right. We know that.
No, it was that woman.
Debbie M.
Debbie M or W? I forget what the hell it was.
That's
So
some
Mick, keep around
wild
here.
That's
we can
some
always use more.
new
We can
level.
always hold on. We can always use more
Mix.
security, Mick. Thanks for looking out, buddy.
I mean, we got the top staff as far as.
It was
mods
funny
on
watching
the
all three of you. Your arms were like on a button, ready to go the whole time. I saw all your eyes pointed towards the same direction.
I was getting a cramp. I was holding it over so long.
I don't have no button.
You look like you're at it.
It was 100%, Crankle. It was 100%. Then you think about it.
So why are we all scared of him or her or whatever the hell it is?
When he feels like it, he's going to porn bomb the channel.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
But it was satisfying to beat him to it because he knew he was probably so frustrated because he'd waited too long to do his thing, and I cut him off.
And eventually, to answer your question, Topple, they will end my ability to do live streams.
Even if you edit it out later?
Yes.
So they could just go in and bang and then screw someone over.
Steve, the secret is really, mate, that's all you need to do. Stop the live, delete the live, and then go live again. That's it. Because
that's a possibility. I prefer to have it pure live for 3 or 4 hours. That's my dig. I like it.
I know. But what I'm saying is if you, for example, unlist it or put it private, they can still strike it. So you've got to delete it. As long as you delete it straight away, you can go live again then and just forget it.
I'll go that route if it comes to it.
Yeah.
Isn't Krinkle your fan based?
Yeah, he loves me to bit.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why he comes to the show?
So basically, what he does, he gets a voice changer, and it's very, very good. You can just tell there's a little bit of a background buzz, and there's not a slight delay, but there's just something that's not right.
Oh, that chick had a delay for sure because it was, you could tell when she was talking. She was like almost like McGrande. She was like a few seconds behind us.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, and basically he's got like loads of facials he can bring up. Very, very sort of good, and he loves doing that sort of shit.
What's the worst thing he's done to you?
He hasn't done anything to me personally.
Oh.
He hasn't taken any of my lives down, but he's taken loads and loads of lives down. He's cost people. I know 2 channels he's taken down, so they don't exist anymore. These channels. So yeah, and that's just, I'll give you that I know 2 channels that have definitely been taken down permanently, and I know many channels that have taken strikes. Because
it's a lot of fun when you get a fan that really takes a liking to you.
we defeated him today, so we should be happy.
There's always next week.
Yeah,
it's an odd thing. I mean, we didn't defeat him. What I want that person to realize is we want to discuss things with them. And they tonight didn't bomb us. So theoretically, they are fine. Copacetic.
You really are a glass half full guy. I give you credit for that.
I am. Well, see, the thing here is on the pub, I really try to maintain a free speech atmosphere. Even if it's a troll, if they don't troll and they just talk, it's still free speech. I know it's asinine if we know it's a troll, but that's just my rule.
Yeah,
that's the rule of the pub. You can't stop assholes from coming into a pub. If you could, then it wouldn't be a pub.
Yeah. So,
but on the other hand, he could end up killing your channel. So you do need some defense.
Let me give you a setup here, all right? My mate Mark Kelly's been on this panel. You know Mark Kelly. Well, he's been on this panel anyway.
The astronaut?
No. So he's been on here, though. I'm sure he is. So Mark Kelly had his own channel just doing this sort of shit. He had about 1,500 sort of subs, I think it was. Maybe 2,000. Maybe definitely 1,500. So anyway, he used to have a live on from his canal boat every Friday or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when he left his canal boat, what happens is he would go down, but when he gets back home, he'll come back up into the stream, as you can do with StreamYard. You can disappear and come back in, can't you? Being the host, it just keeps on going. So what happened is he was the only one that was giving Crankle airtime, and they had a bit of a relationship. But all of a sudden, he went home, and that takes like 20 minutes. And during that 20 minutes, he just played snuff, like real crazy sort of corn, and loads of degen, the worst things that humans can do, for like 20 minutes on his thing. And yeah, I watched his channel go down. I watched his channel literally go down because it was getting mass reported.
Is that the guy that had his eye removed by Seagull?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, he's been on here before.
Yeah, so his channel completely went. And for what? He was the only person giving him airtime. That's the sad thing. And I've always held this against this cunt from that point onwards, because I said to him, Mark was the only one who gave you airtime, and you fucking stabbed him in the fucking back.
Yeah, he's obviously, as Urban Roots said, he's a wrong un. There's something that ain't right in his brain.
A wrong un.
If he didn't porn bomb us today, it's only because we cut him off before he could.
Yeah, so yeah.
And Ace Lip is sorry about that because he loves a good porn bomb.
I mean, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, so he says here like that he bombed Jupiter's channel, another person's channel. I don't know when he done it, but he's just done that now, mostly recently.
Yeah, interesting is right, for sure.
My orange Jeep.
I have another way of figuring out it's him.
Yes.
That I'm not going to say because it will change his behavior, but I did eventually realize that it was Crinkle.
I should have realized when he said, in the old snarch sea salutes and stuff. I was like, oh.
Is it a
great cup of tea?
Well, I don't want to ask you because I don't want to.
Yeah, don't reveal it.
He reached out to his CIA buddies and they found out.
DM me on Twitter if you can there, Super Mod. Super fucking Mod over there with his secrets.
All right, I'll do it right now.
Thank you. Topple, what's that awfully checkered pattern that you have behind you? Is that on purpose?
It's just a blanket, a fleece blanket.
Do you know what it resembles?
What's that?
There's a certain hood by a certain country that kind of has that checkerboard pattern.
What?
Wait, what? I'm confused. A flag? A flag?
No, it's fine. I don't think you've done it intentionally.
Wait, what? Am I doing something bad? It's a fleece blanket.
No, you're not. Your blanket's beautiful.
No, I'm really my couch, my head being so greasy. There's an awful mark on the couch. I'm covering it up.
Eastern Farms said it with.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not illegal though.
No, of course not.
I thought you were. I was about to say I was the only one that got away without being called a Nazi or anything today. So now I'm getting.
Vans use checkerboards a lot.
Who? Oh yeah. Is that still
a guy? You like him, Aphid?
Well, he just totally dipped.
Right.
What's your thoughts on Vance?
I think he's.
Oh, he said Vans. Vans.
The shoes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Close enough. We're going Vance. I don't know. What is these? The Vans checkerboards? Yeah.
You ever heard of Vans shoes?
Of course I have.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're talking about Vance now.
I don't want to talk about Vans.
Yeah.
Oh, that's last Vance will have to turn his cam off.
Exactly. It's
fist of fury over there.
Are you hate him?
Love him.
You love him.
Well, almost romantically. He's so
almost
so good.
He's close to Clarence Thomas levels with Last Dance.
So you really like Vince?
Absolutely. He is.
You really are conservative.
He's really very well spoken, articulate, quite unusual for a Republican. Thinks well on his feet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I watch YouTube videos. It's just like I was there, Zelensky.
I've liked Vance for months, and one of my biggest problems with him was what you just referred to, Aphid.
Him white knighting for the president?
Yeah. That was problematic.
Haven't seen much of him since then. I feel like he might have got talking to.
That was stupid. Trump should have just handled it, man.
Less Vance, more Musk.
I just thought Vance was a failure.
I did not like him during that, though. Don't get me wrong.
Well, it was a clusterfuck for sure. I mean, but like I said,
you got to shake the. Trump believes in shaking the bed sometimes, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, a lot of people, and Aphid Lip was relating a conversation he had with somebody he knows. They view this as Zelensky getting bullied, and I just would say that there's no such thing as bullying in international relations. It just doesn't exist.
Well,
especially when someone comes to your door wanting money.
Yeah,
it's all nobody.
It should have been televised. There was a show going on, and it should have been behind closed doors.
No, I agree with you 100% there.
Okay. So let me give it to you that he was being bullied, David. Both fucking times too. Get in your fucking space.
I mean, the guy's fighting for his life. What do you expect him to go begging for money?
Wear a fucking suit, come with a fucking smile, and sign the bit of paper, cunt. That's what he should have fucking
The suit
done.
doesn't matter either.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Whatever he was wearing.
A bit of respect. Wear a fucking suit when you're begging for fucking another fucking 20 fucking billion. Shut your fucking mouth. Smile.
No, you're wrong. You're off, Welshman. You're off.
No, I'm not. I'm spot on the money. I'm spot on.
Hey, listen here.
Smile. Wear a fucking suit. Do as you're fucking told. And sign the fucking paper.
Yeah, but yet your own guy, fucking Churchill, used to wear that goofy fucking green jumper.
Difference is he was part of the army.
Well, bottom line is
he spent about 15 years as part of the army as a young adult.
Yeah, but
he was part of the Boer War and everything. He was part of India and everything. He was supposed to have
Here's the
starved
difference, though.
200,000 people.
He would wear that to the United States when he would talk to the president's Secretary of State here, which was far removed from the situation there, as though it was almost his, moniker, his sort of style.
Okay.
And it was well respected. He was a fucking legend, bro.
Zelensky was an actor that wear PVC and occasionally played the piano with his penis.
Well, I mean,
was Trump?
So because that was his past profession, should he have worn a PVC outfit playing some organ with his penis?
Well, yeah.
What does it matter what he was? It's what he is that counts.
Well, I tell you what he was and what he is. He's never been part of any army. Not like Churchill, that spent over a decade all over the fucking world fighting for the country.
Fair comparison.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't compare him to Churchill. I would just say, he's
because he's he's lame compared to fucking Churchill.
I wouldn't compare him to Churchill.
Wear a suit. Shut up. Smile.
Well, then why is Musk allowed into the White House Oval Office wearing what he's wearing?
Well, he's not begging for fucking 20 billion, is he?
First of all, I don't think what he was wearing had any importance in what the results of any discussions were.
20 billion. 20 billion says he should wear a fucking suit.
Just because he wears a suit doesn't mean he's going to get 20 billion. I really hope that it's based on the substance of what was discussed, not based on the clothes that were worn. And
when you come begging for more cash and more machinery, you just want to look smart, shut up, smile, and sign the fucking paper.
Foreign leaders wear clothes based on their identity. It can be annoying, How often did Castro go around in fatigues?
Right.
That was pretty cool, though. Pretty cool.
I kind of like to see Trump in some fatigues. It might.
No, he avoided
part of the army. Trump wouldn't do it because he's not part of the army, would he?
No, he had a leg spur or foot spur or something. That's why he didn't wear one.
That's
bone
right.
spurs.
Bone spurs. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, those are very serious. You could never serve in a military with bone spurs.
Is that sarcasm or?
Yes,
that's facts.
Yeah, but bone spurs are wicked painful.
Well, that's what he was saying.
I'd like to see
was getting shot, and somebody has to do it.
I want to. If Obama's got to show his birth certificate, I want to see the medical records of Trump's bones.
There you go.
Do you know that? Do you know that Ukraine are out of Kursk now? They're out of Russia now.
What?
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, they kicked them out.
They withdrew.
Is there a ceasefire right now?
No, not
exactly.
No.
Okay.
They were talking about what to do, maybe some sort of a ceasefire around the power plants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what they did though, Topper, which was a bit of a crazy one, they went in. It was a gas line, wasn't it? And they went in a gas line, and they went
in
15.
The ocean?
No, under the ground. They covertly got into the gas line with the oxygen masks and all that. They went all the way through it, 15 kilometers. They went behind enemy lines. A couple of hundred of them come out and fucking started going from behind as well.
So they were in pipes full of gas.
Fidel.
Yeah, they were in the gas wasn't active in the pipes at the time, but there was still loads of gas in the pipes. Basically, they were dying in the pipes. This is the reports I was saying that they had big headaches. There were a lot of people were taken out of it.
Well, you don't want to introduce oxygen into a gas.
Yeah.
Into a gas pipe. That is asking for an explosion of a tremendous explosion that will, blow up the whole thing.
They shocked the Ukrainians so much that the Ukrainians just abandoned posts locally where it happened, and that they started the rot then, where obviously, that's like the dominoes start tumbling in then around that area.
Yeah.
So yeah, they went 15 kilometers behind the enemy lines.
How big are these?
But it does show Russia that they have to defend their entire border because Ukraine can repeat that somewhere else.
Yeah. But it's another failure, though. It's cost, I don't know, 50,000, 70,000 men.
Yeah, of course. The whole war is a human disaster.
You right, Smokesteve? All right.
Smokesteve, you gonna be partying tomorrow night?
Yep.
You know it, buddy.
Man, I partied so hard last weekend. I puked my guts out.
Yikes!
Oh, you guys still puke your guts out?
I haven't done that.
It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been
really?
since last time I did it. I think was when I argued with Drone Tech about Ted Cruz's dad. That was the last time I think I puked.
What about Ted Cruz's dad?
Because
Zodiac killer.
Trump,
yeah.
Trump said that claimed that Ted Cruz's dad had something to do with JFK's assassination. And then my whole point with the fight or the argument that we had was it was right after Ted Cruz like invited him into like this big huge stadium and like just totally kissed his ass, and it was just like there's no way I would ever do something like that if somebody shit on my dad. And I kept saying shit on my dad, or he shit on his dad.
He did say his missus was pig ugly as well.
And he did that too, yeah. and Drone Tech just kept standing up for him, saying that that's politics, and I'm like, well then,
I've never.
That's
the only time I have ever seen anything like that in politics. That's Trump. That's not.
So yeah. So
she is pretty goofy looking, isn't she?
What?
Yeah, but I mean, what he's supposed he's supposed to just roll over and be like,
no, not at all, not at all.
And I was just saying, my argument was, I was just saying that Ted Cruz was a pussy basically because he did that.
Yeah. So I seen footage of him with his family. It might have been at that stadium thing, like you said, but his wife wasn't having it, and his daughter wasn't.
Oh, I
wasn't
bet.
Yeah, they didn't follow the narrative. They were.
Right.
You could see they were they weren't really there because they wanted to be there. You could tell that.
Oh, I'm sure. Can you imagine? Like, come on, you guys are gonna have to go here tonight and praise this man for my political gain.
Who called my wife, your mum, a fucking pig?
Right.
Let me try this on you, Avid Lippin. See if you'll buy it. I hope.
All right.
What if he was just forgiving Trump? You're forgiven.
There's no forgiving with that.
You could forgive somebody if they if you talk to them and he apologizes.
That's like if you go to a dinner and Trump's there and you're there and you don't get in a fight with him and punch him. That's forgiving.
That's what I was thinking.
But like begging him and bringing him in and saying how wonderful he is.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Totally different.
That's what I was going to say. If he had punched Trump in the mouth, then he could forgive him.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
You can forgive somebody. Or like it was like their ass.
If it was like the movie, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Carrie. The horror movie Carrie. And like he dumped. Like once Trump got on stage and he praised him and brought him in, but once Trump got on stage and got behind the mic and started speaking, he dumped barrels of pig blood all over the top of him. Then that would have been respectable, but no, he didn't do that.
Smokesteve.
Look at Smokesteve. Look at him thinking there.
I have a request from his lovely wife that I will honor.
Smokesteve wife. God bless.
No, but you can forgive somebody, but kissing their ass?
Yeah, he did. He kissed his ass.
And I know that is politics, but
no, that's
to a certain extent it is, but
yeah, it's politics, but you should have some things should be above politics, like your family should be
Oh,
more
you're talking about
important
politicians.
than
Exactly.
politics.
Then
And you
you
know what? That would be good political advice.
Right.
is to prove that your family is above
Yeah.
politics. That's good politics.
Trump wouldn't do that. There's no way.
No way.
There's no way Trump would do that if somebody said that about him.
I think he dogs on his own wife anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Probably. But anyway, that was the last time I puked until last weekend.
Wow.
I didn't even know I got to that point, and it just all of a sudden some guy was showing me, because it was my wife's 50th birthday, so I had a surprise birthday party. We had tons of people over here. Luckily, they were all gone. It was down to the last.
Mrs. Lip. Happy birthday, Mrs. Lip.
Yeah, and so it was down to the last guy, and he was showing me a picture of his son, and he had his.
And you puked?
No, he held it in front of me, and I was like, I can't even make out what you're showing me. I'm gonna have to go lay down. Sorry, and I just left.
It'd be awesome. You puked after you saw the picture.
Here's the thing: I woke up the next morning, and she had cleaned up everything. The outside even was all picked up,
and it was her surprise birthday.
It was her birthday party.
You bastard.
Mm-hmm. But she had a great time, so she was not.
I don't remember drinking to get sick in a long time.
I think it was because I drank a little bit, but also there might have been a couple of things passed to me towards the end of the night, and maybe it just got a little. It just
plus there was your system.
It's the worst combo, mate.
I know.
A lot of alcohol, and then someone passes you a joint at the end of a night. And as soon as that happens, it's like boom.
Yeah, and there was I've mentioned it here before, that a buddy of mine who works for the airlines, and he gets these little of Woodford Reserve
little bottles.
So there was a couple of calls out for Woodford that night.
I seriously
Huh?
I don't think I have vomited from drinking since the only time I did it, which was the first time I ever got drunk when I was a freshman in college in the dorms. And I got so sick that I just never wanted to do that again.
I don't pile stuff down very often, so
I had every stereotypical thing that happens to a drunk. I remember the room was spinning around.
Never got like that ever.
Stop, but I couldn't make it stop. I threw up so many times. I ended up having what's called the dry heaves.
Yeah,
nothing comes out, but you just continually retch.
Oh my God!
It was just, I mean, I was horrible. It was just terrible. So I never took it that far again. I got drunk, but I never got that drunk ever again.
Nah, I usually would get I would usually pass out and then wake up and puke. I would never puke before I went to sleep. I did one time force myself to puke before I went to sleep, and I thought that was such an amateur move.
I don't know.
Woke up and felt great.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know if it is an amateur move, because I did not have that bad of a hangover at all last Sunday, and I think it was because I puked so much of it back out that it kind of cleared up my system. Because I have not puke. Oh, you guys still there? Looks like Topple froze. Anyway, if I don't puke, I've had serious hangovers the next day. Which I will say that I don't know if you guys have ever drank coconut milk, but that really seems to help with hangovers.
What was mine? Mine was Arizona tea. Arizona orange. I forget what it was. It was my hangover drink the next day, and it always did well.
It's something that's in the coconut milk. It's the same thing that's in bananas.
You know what it is?
Potassium.
It's potassium, and then the biggest, most important thing is water.
Yeah.
That's what in coconut milk that really helps you.
So at Glasgow, one of our basic recoveries was we always had bananas because it's full of potassium.
Yep. I really think that does something, man.
So
I do eat a banana before I go to sleep, and not in that kind of way for leg cramps.
Yes, you do.
Restless leg syndrome I have.
Wow.
And it helps actually.
Does your leg jerk or anything, or
it will jerk, or it won't even move, and it feels like it's moving when you're trying to get comfortable.
Yeah, I get that sometimes. I'll be like trying.
I was
to go
freaking out. The guy had like Parkinson's or something.
Well, yeah, I know. Like me too. I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Nope.
Restless leg syndrome.
It could be.
Don't
scare me. Sleep apnea.
Oh, I think I definitely have sleep apnea.
Well, your wife would be able to tell.
Yeah, she says that sometimes, like, because I snore real bad, and she'll be like, sometimes you just stop.
Oh yeah, stop.
Then your whole body spasms.
Yeah.
To wake you up enough to breathe again. That's apnea, but you hardly sleep at all, and you seem to be able to.
I do. No, I'm not.
Be able to a successful business owner. So.
Well, I don't know about successful, and I don't know about like living a good life because of it. But I feel like there's times like today I had 9 hours of sleep, which is so bizarre. The night before I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, so I knew I was going to be hurting yesterday all day, because I went to bed at 11, so I only got 4.5 hours of sleep. And last night I was like, there's this new tornado thing on Netflix about Joplin. I don't know if you guys remember when Joplin got hit with that tornado. It's been like over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really wanting to watch it, and we sat down and watched it, and I fell asleep right away. So I was gonna watch it again last night. I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed at like around 8, little after 8, and I'm gonna, if I fall asleep, I fall asleep, and I did, and I woke up at almost 6 o'clock this morning. I was like, holy shit, that's like 9 hours of sleep. I never get that, because like when we do the pub, some nights we don't get out of here till my time, 11:30 or something.
Right.
I go to bed at 12.
Sleep. I'm out of here, lads. Take it easy.
Oh, see you.
All right.
Cheers, boys.
Great talking to you, Base. Thanks for showing up.
And then I'll get up my normal time, which is usually between 4 and 5. Oh, Jesus, man. And I get so bummed out about it because I wake up and I know I'm up, and it's like I've only slept like 4.5, 5 hours of sleep.
Do you really have any days off?
No, not lately.
What's the White Lotus? Anybody know what that is?
Oh yeah, it's a good show. It's on Max, they call it now.
I don't.
Which it seems like it should be. It seems like Cinemax should be Max.
No,
but
it isn't. They're different.
No, yeah, there is still a Cinemax, I think, and you have to pay like on cable to get it. And then there's HBO, but the app is called Max for some reason.
I bet somehow it's related to Cinemax.
It could be.
Can't have a difference.
You would think
2 names like that so close.
But on cable, I think HBO is still called HBO. And then at the beginning of all their shows, it comes on with the HBO logo on Max. But anyway, White Lotus is a show on there, and I don't know how I would describe what they go to these. It's a resort called the White Lotus. That's why it's called the White Lotus. Okay. And each season, this is the third one, it's in a different part of the world, and it's this luxury resort, and it follows around whoever shows up, to stay there for like a week or whatever.
Now, is it fiction or?
Yeah, it's reality? Totally fiction. Totally fiction. But it's pretty good, man. It's a interesting made for TV show. It's it's HBO, so it's like it's not like it's a NBC program. It's
okay. Is
hardcore.
Would you call it is it a genre, like, is it Lost, kind of like Lost, or
well, it's
like something else?
It usually, I think they usually start off with like the ending, like there's a clip of the ending, like that's so like
all flashback,
fucking crazy, and then that's only it. There's like a 1 minute long at the very beginning of the season that it's so bizarre, and then it starts out where they show up to the island, and and it's
Okay.
it follows different families or couples or whatever it is, and it just gets crazy and bizarre, and it's just interesting. It's good. I would the only other thing I watch is when it comes out is the Stranger Things and Last of Us. Those are the only two other things I can think of that I've got into. But the White Lotus, I always get into that.
I watched a couple shows that were lost maybe a couple years ago. One of them was, I think it was called The Hole, HOLE.
Yeah.
And some guy has this like ranch, and he does normal ranching things, but secretly he knows that somewhere in this remote part of the ranch there's a gigantic hole in the ground, and so there's kind of supernatural elements
right
revolve around it. So it was fun, but it's just like Lost. There's something about it I don't like, probably because nothing every season, or they change the rules, and everything that was a rule before is changed, and the guy you thought was a good guy is now a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess I'm just an old
They ran the
geezer.
series too long. They should end it earlier.
Well, that's how this White Lotus is, because it's not really connected with the last season, and it only lasts for, I don't know, maybe 8 episodes. So they do their crazy debauchery stuff or whatever, murder and that kind of stuff, and then it's over with, and then you got to wait another year before it comes back.
Thanks, RW. So the other show I've talked is like this was it's a people driving down some road. They kind of get a little lost, and they end up in some town, like some rural town, and then they try and leave, and they can't ever leave. They end up, they go around, and it always comes back to that town.
I think my wife was watching that. It was on.
And yeah, so they realize they're, for some.
Was that on Netflix?
I don't know. It might have been on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw 1 or 2 seasons of it, and it was just like the thing I talked about, like a very interesting premise that keeps you. But they all, today's good guy is tomorrow's bad guy. It's just, I don't know. It's just not my thing.
What's it called?
I don't remember what it was called.
It's on Netflix. And at night, creatures come after them.
Yeah, exactly. At night, creatures come out, and you can't. I forget what the rule is. You can't
let them in or talk or see.
You can't look out the window or something goofy like that.
Yeah, this White Lotus isn't supernatural at all.
Okay.
It's just crazy shit. It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger's sons on there. He's one of the
Arnold.
And then Parker Posey. You guys know who that is?
No.
She was in I guess the most famous thing she was in was probably Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, I think I know
the brunette.
Yep. And now, it's hard to believe, but that was like 30 years ago. So she's like old now, not old.
Yeah, they're all old.
I know, man. It's like crazy. It seems like that, like Dazed and Confused. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was 30 years ago.
That's what's like becoming 50. What seems like, a few years ago is 30 years ago.
My wife was having a real hard time with the whole. I did too, man. 50's tough. You're in your early 40s, aren't you, Topple?
No, I'm turning 40 this year.
You're not even 40 yet?
No.
Oh my God, dude.
Well, fuck you guys.
I can't believe you're not even 40.
Me and RW are the same age. And Goon, we're all the same age. 39.
Goon, man. I was hoping to see Goon here tonight.
Yeah.
Every Friday, I selfishly, he's got his own reasons, whatever they are. And I don't want to pressure him, so I don't want to ask him every week, oh, you got to do your show?
Right.
And I don't even make
do it every weekend or Friday?
Well, he's only done it like once in the past, like 4 months, 3 months, something like that. when one of them was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But every week, even if I can't make it, I still go and look to see, if he did his show or not. The guy's, there's not much more of a likable guy than that guy. I mean, he's just so likable. I don't know. There's something about him.
I think it's his accent.
No, he's a charming guy. Really.
Yeah, he is. There's nothing bad about him. He's so nice when he does that show, like just so genuine, nice, just a good guy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, I think I'm about ready too.
Someone wants to go to bed.
I was gonna head out myself. Well, it was great getting a chance to talk to you, Aphid Lip and Topple.
Yeah.
For a while there, I thought none of us would be able to.
It's only 3 hours and 24 minutes. Smokesteve really pussed out early this week.
That's okay.
He's feeling good before the party. He's getting the party done today, so he can feel good tomorrow.
Yeah.
I told my son that because my son's always like, "Oh, it's Saturday. You're gonna have to go do that show, aren't you?" Because we play video games almost every night, and I was like, I got good news and I got bad news. And he's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "The good news is I'm not gonna be on the show tomorrow night," and he goes, "I bet the bad news is just because you're gonna do it tonight."
Well, these are still the good times because soon enough you'll be getting ready to tell him something, and he's off. He's out.
I won't even have a chance to tell him because he's gonna be doing something else. All right. Well, you guys have a great. Hopefully, you enjoy your free Saturday night tomorrow night.
Yeah,
I know I will.
Have a great week.
You guys have a great week. I'll talk to you guys.
See ya.
Good night.
Take it easy. Well, I guess I will be the one to say good night to all you good people out there. I enjoyed the pub and especially the comments of the brilliant people on in the chat there. Thank you so much for making me laugh a lot. And you guys have a great week. And hopefully we will see you next week, probably on Saturday. Seems like it's always a Saturday after a Friday, but that's up to Smokesteve. All right, guys, take care. See you then. Bye-bye.